decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered flex steel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits, and if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. Feeding your passion for local sports in the afternoon. It's the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper on your radio at 1140 a.m.
Streaming audio at SactownSports.com and the Sactown Sports app.
You can also watch the show on YouTube at Sactown Sports 1140. Here are the Drive Guys with Kevin Gleason and Kyle Draper.
Yeah, Drape's back today. He's just not here right now, but he should be here any minute as the LeBron James of the station get ready for his dramatic entrance. So we're looking forward to that. I'm sure he's looking
going
forward
off tonight for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he's looking forward to talking about not only his Eagles yesterday, but the 49ers yesterday. Jay, here's my thing on the 49ers. I'm not, panicking about the 49ers. So the panic meter, such a long season, as you point out, my panic level is low. But here he comes. Mention the 49ers, and he comes and running. Yeah.
Back there?
Yeah.
What do you mean, man? Of course I'm back here.
Everything set up.
Yeah.
All right, what's up, fellas? What's up? I apologize.
We're good. Welcome back.
Thanks.
I see how it works. The Eagles lose, we don't see it for a while. The Eagles win, and look who's back.
You know what? I wanted to call in last week because the Niners also lost.
Did they?
Yeah,
true, they did.
But it's funny. I walk in, I see my boy Jay dressed in all black like he going to a funeral.
That's a lie.
No, why you got black on, Jay?
It's blue, sir.
Oh, all right.
If we have any private physicians that may need to advertise, we have someone who can sign up for optometry right now.
Yeah, I need some glasses.
Color blindness.
Let me say this,
navy
quick,
blue,
fellas, because last week, I was off. I was doing some things. I kept an eye on the NFL.
You're in New York, right?
Yeah, I was in New York.
Hey, shouts out real quick before you talk about my 49ers. Let me just say this, man. As a HBCU guy, who went to HBCU.
Yeah.
And I was proud, man. I was proud to have a team member knock it down with Charles Arbuckle and T Brown, right? As a sideline reporter.
Yeah.
And I thought you guys did a great job. Terrence Mathis, coach, and Scott. And I mean,
you check this out, Jay?
Of course I did, man. What do you mean? I have Peacock.
Oh, okay.
I got the Pete,
Yes.
I thought you guys did a great job. And I always like to see HBCUs getting some national network love.
Right.
And if one of my guys, the big fella, gets to be the play-by-play for that, man, I just want to say, bring some attention to that. Salute to that. I was going to hit you, but I knew you was in New York, so you wasn't paying attention to your phone.
Yeah, not much. Not much.
So, and vacation, sometimes you got to decompress. But I thought you guys did a great job. I thought you guys, were phenomenal. I thought you guys hit on stuff. You were very informative. I really enjoyed it.
Appreciate you, Jay. Damn. And here's the thing. He's disarming me because I was going to come in and talk some trash. I was ready to talk some but really, guys, last week, I'm watching the 49ers, see what happens to them. And I'm like, damn, I wish I was working Monday. I can't wait to get in. I wish I was working last Monday. Then my Eagles lost. And I'm like, good thing I'm not working this week. Good thing I'm not working. And Eagles still don't look good.
Conference and smash Cowboys.
No, we said that. We said Monday. We said, well, we might hear from Draper today. And then Tuesday we said, we're not going to hear from me, right?
Oh, man, but it's good to be back, man. Tons to get to, obviously. Niners, what's interesting about it is I'm hearing from two sides of Niners fans. One side, the ship be sinking. Shanahan lost us this game. The other side, it's still early. It's only one game. Everything will be okay. I don't know how I feel. Mm-hmm. It's still early, yes, but there's some signs that are showing that aren't encouraging. If you're
they were exposed a little bit yesterday. First of all, that was a really nice win for your team yesterday. They were down.
Was it?
Well,
that was a weak win.
I'm not giving them credit.
First time that anyone's beaten the Saints.
Yeah,
and their
defense played great.
Well, and their defense had not looked good.
I agree with you. Our defense looked great, holding the Saints in check. I'm still worried though. Jalen Hurts doesn't look good.
He doesn't.
He doesn't even look engaged. Really, that's the thing that upsets me. It's like, 2 years ago when they made it to the Super Bowl, he was a leader. He's the guy you want running your franchise. Now he looks disinterested. His decision-making is awful. I don't know if you guys saw the clip. Him and Sirianni were talking, and Sirianni's trying to tell him something. And Jalen Hurts is looking everywhere but at Sirianni. There are some issues there, and sure, they got the win. But to Jay's point, I'm not feeling good after that.
Yeah, I just thought, like you said, the fact that the defense was able to hold together to slow down a team that no one had been able to slow down.
Yeah.
That was a good sign. As far as the 49ers, for me, I'm not panicking because it's so early, but at the same time, disappointment meter and frustration meter, pagan. Because that was really disappointing. You're without all your players, and it's all right. The schedule's giving you a chance to actually win a couple games, and you had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. As we know, I'm sure we'll talk about, you saw it. That's what's so frustrating, and I think you're right. I mean, yeah, they gave that game away, but they were also exposed in a couple of key areas by a Rams team that had no business coming from behind.
Whitey, talking about the Rams the last 2 weeks, it was their offensive line is tattered.
Don't have any receivers.
Don't have any receivers. And for the defense, we could talk about Ayuk, and I'm sure we will, and the drops made by Bell and things like that. But for the defense not to get any pressure on Stafford the last 3 quarters, I mean, the defense not showing up, to me, that's the concern. Bosa doesn't look like the same like he did 2 years ago.
He was hurt yesterday, but I agree.
Yeah, he was hurt. Yeah, he was banged up, and Hargrave was banged up as well. But they got exposed, in my opinion, back-to-back weeks. The defensive line, then in turn the secondary. That's 2 weeks in a row you get gashed for a big play at a critical time. There's some concerns there, I think.
I'm with you. I said last week, if the 49ers, because the pass rush hadn't been great in the first 2 games, I said if the 49ers can't get to Matthew Stafford, they have a problem. Yeah. Well, the Rams pressured Brock Purdy 16 times. 49ers pressured Matthew Stafford 12 times yesterday. They have a problem.
They have a problem because, when you look at it the other way, at least the Niners had their offensive line. They were running out backups in the offensive line, third stringers in the offensive line, and the inability, to stop the run. You've been talking about that all season long, and then the inability to get to Stafford. And as I'm driving in, fellas, I'm thinking, when you look at Bosa, and I'm going to throw in, Trent Williams, I'm going to throw in Ayuk. You got 3 guys making more than $90 million, and they just aren't holding up their end of the bargain right now through the first 3 weeks.
The weirdest play of the game was about 4 minutes to go. I don't know if you saw Baldy break this down. And the 49ers were up, and they have the ball at midfield. It's 1st and 20. And they have a chance to put the game away. And Brock Purdy goes back to throw, and the Rams have that 3-man rush.
I saw that.
And Ayuk is wide open. The seam. I mean, the safety's on the other side of the field. He runs by 2 defenders. And Brock Purdy apparently sees him at least once, maybe twice, and doesn't throw him the ball. And it's just a head scratcher. people want to leap to conclusions and say, well, he didn't trust him.
Yeah.
Well, there's no one near him. I don't care who it is. If there's nobody covering Brandon Ayuk,
right,
and you see him, you have to throw him the ball. Right. So that was a weird play, and that would have been a touchdown that probably would have iced him.
Yeah, he was running down the seam wide open.
Let me ask you, wide open?
Yes. He would have.
There was nobody near him,
dude. He was taking off.
I must be seeing the other play. Then.
Yeah, you gotta look at the play again. And the video that Baldinger shows, he's not immediately wide open. But if you let it develop,
he thinks like he's going to block and runs through two guys. Right. Like I said, the safety's on the other side.
Send it to me.
I'll send it to you. I was just looking at it about a half hour or so ago. That's because I thought what you just said, that people are jumping to conclusions like, man, he must not trust Ayuk in that situation. Or did he just not see him?
Yeah, I don't. The trust thing makes zero sense. It's not like, well, it's a tight window. It's like, he's wide open.
Yeah.
So
he threw to him 10 times yesterday. And so the fact that Ayuk only converted 5 of those 10, that's a little concerning. Had, some early dropsies, if you will. But, I'm not going to put it all on the offense. Like, to me, if you were doing blame pie, the offense takes about 10%. Sure, Ayuk has to be better. Bell has to make the catch. I get it. But you're down CMC, you're down Kittle, you're down Debo, 24 points. You have a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, Whitey. You're up 7 with 2 minutes and change left to go. You're supposed to win that game. The defense failed the Niners in the biggest of moments. Special teams also.
Oh, yeah.
We got to talk about that, too.
Piece of that blame pie. A la mode. Big chunk for special teams, right? Did you hear Shanahan said the fake punt? He said, yeah, we knew they were going to do that. And he said we still couldn't contain the edge. I don't know if that makes it better or worse.
That makes it worse. If you know it's coming and you still can't stop it. What I'm noticing with the Niners, fellas, and this goes back even to last year, when things start to go bad, it almost becomes contagious. When one unit is struggling, Moody misses a field goal. Purdy, fumbles, and it wasn't his fault, obviously, but Purdy fumbled. Like, Bell drops the ball. Like, the errors start to snowball. Punt return coverage is terrible.
Yeah.
It just seems like one thing, leads to another, and it becomes contagious with this squad.
And there was, maybe 5 or 6 of those little things that happened. They all had to happen for the Rams to have a chance.
Right.
And they all did.
Right.
And the 49ers just laid it out for Matthew Stafford. What you need us to do. You want a big punt return? All right. How about a PI on a long pass? You got it.
Yes.
So that's why I say the panic, but the frustration and the disappointment, it's just too early to panic as talented as his team is.
All right. Let me ask you this, because it may be too early to panic, but we can go back to training camp. Things were off a little bit. Contract situations, tricky Ricky P and the shooting, which is obviously horrible, but things just haven't been smooth for the Niners ever since the Super Bowl, really.
Right.
And there comes a point where it's like, are you snake bitten? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Ayuk looked like he's just happy he got his money and he doesn't look like the same guy. I don't know what it is. And Ayuk's my guy. It just seems like now that he got paid, now that he got his money, he just doesn't seem as invested. And I know that's maybe not right to throw on him, but something seems off with him.
The only time I came close to panicking yesterday was when Trent Williams went down. I don't know if you remember that. And turned out he was fine. Yeah. But I thought at that point, it's like, if he's done, they're done.
They're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and that's the thing, man. It just seems like everything is snowballing. They can't get into any kind of rhythm. The week 1 win against the Jets was fool's gold, because we see Aaron Rodgers, is moving a lot better than he did in week 1. And my concern is this too. When you look at it yesterday, you build a 14-0 lead, but then you only score 10 the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So basically you were outscored 27-10
by the Rams.
By the Rams.
Yeah, I thought of that same thing.
That's concerning. Like the last 3 quarters, the Rams, they owned you 27-10. They outscored you.
They didn't run the ball that much either. And when you have a lead, especially when you're the 49ers, you should be able to run the ball. And I don't know if the Rams must have just dared them with, 8 men in the box or whatever, and they were trying to avoid, 2nd and 3rd and long. But I think you could make the case that for the second week in a row, perhaps Shanahan was out-coached as well.
Ooh, all right.
Last week he definitely was. This week, I don't know, maybe.
I was going to ask you about what because I'm hearing that a lot. What constitutes being out-coached? Is it your play calling is bad? Is it your decision making? Last week, yes, going for it on fourth, like some of the decisions. What did Shanahan do this week that sort of was a head scratcher as far as you're concerned?
Well, part of it too is just giving credit to Sean McVay. I mean, he had to they had to be buttoned down and know exactly what they were doing to have a chance to win. But the inability or the reluctance to run the ball, in the second half, I think that comes back to roost with Shanahan. And look, special teams, a lot of that is coaching too, and that's been a problem since Shanahan has been here.
No, you're right, and that's the thing. Having covered Bill Belichick and been around Bill Belichick and that Patriots offense and that Patriots system, they've prepared for everything. Like special teams was just as important as defense and offense and everything like that. It feels like the Niners right now aren't necessarily getting beat. They're self-inflicted wounds. Moody with the missed field goal, the punt coverage. Like, how much are they paying attention and focusing on punt coverage, I wonder? Because one thing about Bill Belichick, he's stressed we're going to have a great special teams. Like that was, without a doubt. We've talked on this show about, they don't invest in a punt return guy or a return guy. Like, how much does Shanahan really place on that? And we've seen it too many times, man. Like to give up a 50-yard punt return, I think it was, or out to the 50, in that situation. And it was the guy's first ever return, mind you. This guy had never returned a punt before in his life, and he runs it out to the 50. It just I
wonder if that's part of when you're paying your stars so much. And you've got, your cap situation is good, but that means somewhere guys aren't getting paid as much. And I'm wondering if that's where they're having to cut corners and it's taking a toll on them in the secondary, as far as your depth pieces and also special teamers. I don't know, because it's kind of mystifying. Did you see the play yet, Jay?
Oh, I haven't sent it. Did he see it yet?
No, somebody sent it to me. I got to check, I believe.
Okay.
Oh, you got it? Somebody sent it to you?
Yeah, somebody got it to me.
Somebody got it to you?
Yeah,
right,
let me
check that
here.
out.
Yeah.
We talked a lot last week about how the 49ers did need Brock Purdy to be close to perfect. He was great.
Yeah, he was. And, the thing about it, Brock Purdy did everything in his power to will that team to a win. Sure, he was let down by Bell, but some of the balls he threw, some of the ball placement that he had, there was some drops out there. And this narrative about Brock Purdy, a product of the system and everything, and I was going to save this for tomorrow, but I'll say it right now too. I think we need to put to bed the Brock Purdy isn't a good quarterback narrative. Like, for anybody that's still saying that, they're just being a Brock Purdy hater right now. And if they do talk like that, we need to just ignore what they have to say. Brock had a hell of a game yesterday. I thought he was phenomenal yesterday, but they didn't get over the hump, man. And, you could argue he was let down by his coaching staff to an extent.
Andy Harris in the Chateau says, Niners look bad on a lot of fronts. Brock killed it, though. We can squash that. If Bell catches one of those 5 drops, we're having a different conversation. Yeah, that's football, though, right?
Yeah, that is.
You lose. You don't make those plays, you lose.
Can I be a devil's advocate just a little bit? Just a little bit. That's what I do sometimes.
Well, remember what you just said.
No, I'm just for the sake of conversation. I'm not saying this is how I feel. I'm saying any concern that Brock couldn't lead them back over the hump. Sure, the drops happen, but they happen. If you look at the offense, the last 3 quarters, only 10 points. Brock was dealing, yes. Threw for 200-some yards, yes. 3 touchdowns, yes. But after the first quarter, the offense didn't put up a lot of points. How much of that is on Brock?
I don't think it's on Brock at all, based on the way he played. Other than that Ayuk play, I don't remember one play where, they moved the chains. He moved the chains. They probably should have run the ball more. Maybe the Rams were preventing that. You answer your own question, because I don't think there's. I know what you're doing here, but I don't think there's. It's a fair question.
A topic. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm not saying Brock should have done more or anything like that, or but the fact that as I'm looking at the drive chart right now, you're up 24-14. You lead them down there, field goal range, albeit, 55, I think it was. That's a long one. But the game really, that second to last time they had the ball. Remember the last drive, it was just the one play. But the fact that 5 plays, 15 yards, that's where – and so when you want to talk about Brock and the Montana and the Brady and the Patrick Mahomes –
that was a great throw to Bell. That was a great throw.
I thought it might have been a little behind.
He said it was.
Yeah, just a tad behind.
But it hit him right in the hands.
Bell got to come up with that.
Yeah. So to me, that's why I don't feel like Brock Purdy turtled up there down the stretch.
Yeah.
And sometimes people say, it's on the quarterback. If they don't win, it's on the quarterback.
Right. That's all I'm saying.
People are going to say
that's what people say. No, like the fact remains they didn't get it done.
Yeah.
And, that would have been a signature drive for Brock, too. You march it down there, you go down, you get the field goal or the touchdown or whatever, then the narrative really is changing. I didn't need that. Like, Brock played a hell of a game. He's a good quarterback. That's all I'm going to say about him. He's a good quarterback. But trust me, Niners fans, I'm not going to spend my Monday talking about Brock Purdy, J.P. Mason, Jawan Jennings. You lost the damn game, Whitey. You lost the game. And so we need to talk about, is Sorensen the right guy to lead this defense? That's a question. What's going on in the secondary? 2 straight weeks where you get gashed for big plays. Like, those are concerning. Yeah. Is this becoming a habit that Niners fans should worry about?
I'm more concerned with the guys up front.
Yeah.
You're paying a big chunk of money. Last year anyway, the most money you're paying any unit to the defensive front. The Rams, as you said, they had a makeshift offensive line. That's a mismatch right there. That's where the game should have been decided for the 49ers. And they weren't able to do that. That's a concern. That's 3 games in a row now where the defensive front, which is the key to everything you accomplish, and it takes pressure off that secondary that can be a little iffy. They didn't get it done. That's a problem. Remember last year they went out and they had to add defensive linemen.
Right.
Right now that's at the top of my shopping list with this team.
See, but Whitey, let me ask you this, though, and I hear you 100%. But when does it become it's not the lack of talent, maybe it's coaching? Like, you can't keep adding defensive linemen, can you? The talent has been there. We go into each season saying it's a strength of this team, and then when it plays out, it's not that.
I think this Coach Sorensen, you need to bring the guy that they got from the Chargers in as the coordinator. Sorensen, I think right now, I think Shanahan is essentially, Staley, thank you. I think Shanahan essentially is a defensive coordinator. And I'm not saying he's dialing things up, but you got a guy now, because you had Saleh. You know, on great teams, the defense is a separate unit. And you had, of course, the guy coaching the
Miko Ryans.
That's a great unit. And since then, it's like, Steve Wilkes, they blamed him and everything. Right now, I think it's basically Shanahan is dictating the way they run the defense.
If that's the case, you got bigger problems than just your front four or talent or whatever. Like, Shanahan should not be doing that, right?
Right.
He's an offensive genius, supposedly.
Right.
If his hand is in the cookie jar, you want to blame Steve Wilkes? Okay. Well, who hired Steve Wilkes? Shanahan. He needs to be criticized for that. You want to blame Sorensen, for being promoted? Okay. But who promoted him? And now you're telling me, I'm not saying you, I'm just saying in general, like.
Well, who was it we talked to? The reason I say that.
Yeah.
Matt Barrows or somebody, I asked him, when on the air here, it's like, well, what are going to be the differences with this coordinator? And whoever it was said, not going to be much different. It's just Shanahan dictates how he wants the defense run. I'm not saying he's in there, dialing up blitzes. The coordinator now is like, okay, this is what I'm doing because this is what Shanny wants, rather than a defensive coordinator who's like, all right, this is what I'm doing on my defense.
I would like to know, and I don't know if the players would ever come out, is it scheme or lack of execute? Like, whose fault is it?
You got to get to the quarterback, or everything falls apart.
But you pay that much money because you got 4 guys you invest in that should be able to get to. That has nothing to do with scheme. Like, now are we asking a defensive coordinator to, maybe we need to blitz more. Maybe we need to. But you just invested all this money in the defensive line. They should be able to get after it, right?
Right. I think that's their biggest issue. But there are many, and special teams is another one.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that comes back to defeat of Shanahan. Because the special teams have always been subpar as long as he's been here.
Yeah, I'm looking at our boy Tony Ray Harvey, who's chiming in. Suffice to say, Niners were outplayed, outcoached, and outclassed. No, they must string together some victories. Now they are not going to panic. I don't know. Fortunately, New England's coming to town, so that's a get well game, hopefully. But man, this is that was hard to watch yesterday.
You see the line on this game already?
What is it?
I think it's 10.5.
Damn. And it might move the other way to make it even more. It might be like 12 and a half.
Incredible.
Man.
Hey, Drapes is back. We're having fun despite what the 49ers did yesterday. Meanwhile, Antonio Pierce's post-game comments, do they mean Devontae Adams is on his way out of Vegas? That's next when we come back to the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's winds blowing across a fruited plain, and also your new fire pit, which subsequently sets your gazebo ablaze. It's hard-hitting football, and an even harder-hitting price estimate from your general contractor. That's a star-spangled bummer. It's also around-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Hey everybody, it's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Are you looking for a new van for your business? Maybe you want to go out on a camping trip or even haul your kids and their teammates to their sporting events. Well, Mercedes-Benz of Stockton has the Sprinter van just for you. It's fully customizable, and plus it has that Mercedes star right on the front, so you know it has the premium quality that Mercedes sedans and SUVs are known for. Give the Mercedes-Benz Sprinter van a test drive at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton or go online at mbofstockton.com.
Khalid, live in concert. See him performing at the venue at Thunder Valley, Saturday, October 5th. Get tickets now at ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss the sensational Khalid for one night only at the venue at Thunder Valley, Saturday, October 5th. For more, visit KhalidOfficial.com.
Second down and goal from the 6. Raiders bring a twist. Screen pass, right side. Chuba gets a block, has the 5. Amtrak's into the end zone for a Carolina touchdown.
Football's fun again.
The Drive Guys, live and local, every afternoon, Monday through Friday on Sactown Sports.
Yeah, that call courtesy of the Panthers Radio Network. How about those Carolina Panthers? 36-22 over the Raiders. The Red Rifle can still fire with accuracy.
I forgot he was even in the league, man, until they made the move last week, announced that they were benching Young. And you know what? That might be the win of the week, right? Like the Panthers of all teams. Like, I don't know if you guys had locks last week. Was that one of your locks last week that the Panthers would lose? I was shocked by that.
No, we did not. We kind of took a little bit of the week off without you. My upset pick was the Falcons over the Chiefs, which they should have had if not for the officials. But I don't know if what you had. Did you have a lock of the week or an upset? You had an upset special, didn't you, Jay?
Yeah, I got to go back and look at it. I can't remember.
Yeah, maybe it's better you don't. I don't know.
It
was a crazy week.
I'm glad I missed last week because the week 2, that was a bloodbath. Week 2 in terms of our picks.
Yeah,
and I don't know, what the final standing was or anything like that. Did Whitey lose last week? But I think I only got like 3 or 4 right. It was a bloodbath.
You got 5.
Yeah. I got 5. What'd you get, 5. Whitey?
1.
You only got what? 2?
3.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
All right.
So actually, I'm due for a punishment this week.
Yeah. We got some guests coming up.
Yeah.
Or do we do the same punishment or a different one?
Whatever you want. You tell me. Yeah, I'm the one that has to serve the punishment.
Right. Yeah, let me think about this for a sec.
You tell me.
All right, I'll come up with something.
Yeah, but Antonio Pierce, after that defeat yesterday at home, Carolina 36, Las Vegas 22. Here's what he had to say about his squad.
No, they didn't. I think as the game went on,
I don't think it was a team. I think there was definitely some individuals that made business decisions, and will make business decisions going forward as well.
Yeah, he said, no, the team didn't show up. Some guys made business decisions, and we're going to make business decisions going forward. A lot of people assume that he was referring to Devontae Adams, who appeared unhappy, disengaged. So now some people, especially people in New York, are hoping that Devontae Adams can be reunited with Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people look at that and go, ooh, maybe he's on his way out.
Maybe. I mean, if you're the Raiders, and I know you're trying to go for it, I know, but he's your best asset on the offensive side. Why not, get him out of there, trade, get some picks, maybe a first rounder, first and third or something, whatever it'll take. This isn't your year. You're not going to win the Super Bowl, and he's your best asset. And if he's unhappy, making business decisions, if you will, that's not somebody you want in the locker room at the time, And so if I'm the Raiders, I'm doing kind of what the Bears did in terms of, making a trade with the Panthers to get a bunch of cracks at it. I don't know if a team is as dumb as the Panthers were when they made that trade, but I'm getting two for a first and a third or a second and a fourth or something like that. Draft my quarterback next year, draft another receiver, build for the future. And so it seems like, but they were coming off a hell of a win the week before.
I think it was a letdown game.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, I think
that
so.
was a huge win the week before.
Which is crazy because the Raiders, they aren't good enough to have any letdowns.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like nobody is beneath them, right?
Game.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that was a bad loss. And give Andy Dalton credit. I'm looking at the numbers: 319 yards, 3 touchdowns. Like, is this Bengals Andy Dalton we're seeing here?
A lot of Raider fans last week when we talked about it, they'd say, "Oh man, he destroys." Andy Dalton always destroys the Raiders.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, still got their number.
Yes.
It's weird. The NFL right now, let's face it, it's like you were just talking about, how difficult it is to predict, especially with the point spread. Some of those games yesterday, it's like,
it's
Denver goes into Tampa Bay and rattles them.
That was surprising. I did some picks for this other thing I'm a part of, and that was shocking as well. And in all these games, man, and the fact that, you talked about Tampa losing. How about the Saints? I actually picked the Saints to beat the Eagles. They look like the best team in football the first 2 weeks, and then they turtle. How about also the Packers going into, and I know the Titans aren't good, but Malik Willis getting things done. I'm like, it's unbelievable. How about the Steelers? 3-0.
Don't forget the New York Football Giants. The
Giants got a freaking win. I mean, it's which team you should be scared of? How about them Seahawks?
Yeah.
Oh, really? You giving us? Yeah, they're actually playing hell of a football game right now. Yes.
It's kind of an easy game for them yesterday, but you know how it is. It must be an easy game for the 49ers yesterday,
supposed to be.
How did that work out?
Yeah, supposed to be. So you're not concerned about the Niners?
Mildly concerned, but more just frustrated and disappointed. There's still so far to go, and there's nobody in the conference. I know the Seahawks are 3-0, but I don't see, Detroit's wobbled a little bit. Your team has wobbled. I don't see anybody looking like they're going to run away with the conference.
You believing in Minnesota?
Yes.
You are believing it.
I said
Sam
before
Darnold
season started, I thought they were going to be better. I didn't know they're going to be this good.
Yeah.
But I thought they were going to be better.
Well, the thing about the Niners that I would be worried about, and these next couple of weeks, will dictate it. But this is supposed to be the soft part of their schedule.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean, where they can bake some wins before they get into the KCs, the Dallases of the world, the Seahawks twice. I mean, these are supposed to be the games you have to win, that you're supposed to bank. That's why I think Sunday against New England, that's a must win, right? And I'm talking must win to win the conference and have home field throughout.
If they lose that game, just shut it down.
Right.
Just go dark.
Because
time to start tanking.
And the thing about it,
Flag or whoever,
the Cardinals aren't a walkover anymore. Like, the Cardinals are better than I thought they'd be. The Seahawks are better. Chiefs, Cowboys, Buccaneers. You got to get this win, son.
Yeah, and that's an alarming thing when you have a game won and you still can't bank it. A team with that much championship experience, and I know that won a championship, but playoff experience, they're supposed to be able to do that. Here are the 3 lowest graded 49er players on offense, according to Pro Football Focus. Ronnie Bell, Kyle Juszczyk, and Colton McKivitz.
Yeah.
And the 3 lowest graded 49er players on defense, Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, Leonard Floyd defensive end, and Yetur Gross-Matos defensive end. The thing about Leonard Floyd, and as you said, a little banged up, Leonard Floyd has yet to surpass a 47.4 overall grade this season, has seen his mark drop for 2 consecutive weeks, 1 sack this season, which came in week 1. His 36.5 overall grade from this week is his lowest since week 18 of the 2021 season against the 49ers when he earned a 31.8 grade. So, yeah, the defensive front is not producing the way the 49ers not just expect them to produce, but need them to produce.
Right, and you know how it is, Whitey. You know, you get the pass rush, you shut down the run. That makes life in the back a whole lot easier for the secondary. If you're giving, Stafford time to throw back there, you're giving him time to survey the landscape, giving him time to let his receivers get downfield. I go back to 2 years ago when the Niners came up just short against the Eagles in that NFC Championship game. The hallmark of that team was its defensive line. They were fierce. They were feared. Like, they got after the quarterback. Even last year, I didn't feel like the pass rush or the run defense was that great. And they've invested assets, money, what you name it, into it, and still can't get it right. And I'm starting to wonder, maybe this is me being a hater, Niners fans, but when we look at Nick Bosa, was 2 years ago sort of an outlier? Has he regressed since then? I'm just asking a question. He doesn't seem to be the same guy he was 2 years ago. His impact.
He was one of their 5 highest graded players on defense yesterday, but, and they obviously give him special attention, extra attention. He's not playing badly, but you're right. He hasn't been as dominant.
He's not defensive player of the year caliber anymore.
Yeah.
He's been good.
Yeah.
He's been good. He's been solid. But 2 years ago, he was all world. I'm saying he was blowing everything up. And now, I'm looking at some of the numbers right here. I got to go all the way down. Let me see here. Nick Bosa, 2 tackles, 1 solo, and 1 tackle for loss. I need more of an impact. And I'm looking at the front 4, the line. Look at a guy like, Leonard Floyd, 4 total tackles, 3 solo. You got Travarius Ward, Huff, Isaac, Devondre Campbell. You got the back end guys making all the stops. Where's the front 4 at? Like, you're supposed to stop them at the line. That didn't happen last night.
Right. Like I said, and I had to look this up. Pressures on the opposing quarterback. 49ers had 12 pressures. The Rams had 16.
Yeah.
The Rams got more pressure on Brock Purdy. Even though for much of the game, they had that 3-man rush. So to me, that's where it starts. There are a number of things that are very concerning right now. They were exposed to a degree. The special teams and the defense specifically, the front is like, it's a long season, but you got to clean those things up or it won't matter how many more games you have left.
And that's 2 weeks in a row where they've been able to gash you. The opponent has been able to gash you, whether it's running or throwing the ball. I mean, they made Sam Darnold look great last week. They made Stafford look great yesterday. And
since DeMeco Ryans left, the defense hasn't had any identity or character.
It's not in it. Like,
they had it with Saleh, they had it with DeMeco Ryans, and now it's in last year with Wilkes, because you could tell they weren't comfortable working together and figuring out the scheme. And the defense is talented, but just kind of no identity.
How much is that Drake Greenlaw being out? Like, you look at Fred Warner, he's playing lights out, He comes with an identity, a swagger.
Yes.
Drake Greenlaw too plays with a swagger. Sometimes he's a little overboard a little bit, but that physicality.
Yeah.
I don't see the physicality from the front guys enough. They're trying to, but it's not ferocious. Like the way Fred Warner plays, you're scared to go against him. Bosa a couple of years ago, he was ferocious. I don't see that out of that front 4 this season.
Yeah. Did you see the game? I'm sure you did. The game Warner had against Minnesota.
Yes.
Oh my.
That dude was all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, a little punch in the, like he's a master at that. No, he's he's in the running for defensive player of the year, very early, obviously, but he's playing extremely well. but he's the only one that seems to have a pulse out there defensively right now.
Dre Greenlaw.
Diamador Lenore.
Yeah. All right. You want to give him some love.
Dre Greenlaw he's on track to come back maybe late October. I know they had Matt Barrows or somebody had an update on him. So he's tracking to be able to play at some point around a little before midseason. So that's good, but it's a great point.
Right. And
that's football too. You're going to be without guys.
Yes, it happens. And here's the thing. We just saw with the Rams, they were without guys. And so we can't use, we didn't have this guy. We didn't have, no reason to get upset. I'm worried. And if I'm looking at the Seahawks and what they're doing, and I know it's very early, but you're 2 games behind them in the division already through 3. They're going to stumble some. They're going to lose some games. But those head-to-heads become even that much more important as it's coming up.
Yeah, that a loss like yesterday, maybe you have time to come back and get in the playoffs and be close to what you were before. But when you get to the NFC title game, wherever you're playing, there's a really good chance that loss yesterday kept you from being home.
Right. You might be in Detroit. You might be in Green Bay, Philly, somewhere,
What was that last one you said?
Philly.
I guess it's possible.
2-1, baby. 2-1. We should be 3-0 too, right, Whitey? The way we lost last week.
Why should you be?
Say, hey, Saquon Stonehands Barkley catch the damn ball. Like, my gosh.
You know what some people said? Maybe you saw this. Maybe you thought this when it happened. Some people thought that they were so sure they're going to win that game that when the defense came back on the field at the end, they weren't really ready to play.
They had already checked out almost, right?
Checked out. And also you got the coordinator upstairs. There was no one on the sidelines like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Some people thought the defense looked kind of flat-footed on that last drive.
Well, I tell you what, the guys were, Falcons players were running open, like 10 yards, nobody around them. So, and I was in Philly that night too. They lost.
Really?
Yeah. Watching mom and dad and around some, and it was heartbreaking, man. It was a gut punch. It was like, here we go again.
By the way, Jair Brown had a really good Pro Football Focus numbers yesterday.
Oh, did he? He got good grades?
Credit. Yeah, Malik Collins was the highest on defense. Jair Brown, Fred Warner, Bosa actually had a decent grade, and Javon Hargrave. But obviously, the overall grade for the 49ers, what? F. No question, right?
You giving them F?
Yeah, you lost to the Rams. Massive failure.
All right. I'm not going to argue, man. I don't want to give them the best. Yeah, it was probably a D-. How about that?
Wow. How about you, Jay?
I'll go D.
Okay.
I'll go D. I think the offense played well. Defense, they played horrific. Special teams. And I also I think you guys, and this is my opinion, I think you guys are using the wrong verbiage. I don't think Kyle Shanahan was out-coached. I think he showed the lack of certain things that he doesn't do. And that's not out-coaching. That's just you not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'd give him a D. They're around there somewhere.
When we come back, this thing with the Chiefs and the officials has really gone too far. Next, Sactown Sports.
Sponsored by Xfinity Internet. Enjoy ultimate control of your home network. Personalize your Wi-Fi name and password. Assign user profiles, view and control connected devices, and more with the Xfinity Internet app.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
For most of the people that walk in our store, it's been an ongoing, nonstop issue, and they're finally walking into the Good Feet store. Okay, the guy that came into my store last year that has had plantar fasciitis for 30 years. I looked at him, I said, "Are you kidding me? I've been here for 14. Where have you been?" I helped relieve a problem that's plagued him for 30 years. I mean, how do you not go home and talk about that?
Come to the Good Feet store now for a free fitting and test walk.
Who's ready for some fun on Saturday? Country in the Park 2 takes over Heart Health Park at Cal Expo with Dirk Bentley, Harmony, plus line dancing and a mechanical bull, axe throwing, pop-up clothing stores, and food trucks. Tickets start as low as $52 at CITPfest.com. Grab your family and join us for Country in the Park 2 this Saturday at Heart Health Park. More at CITPfest.com.
Brought to you by A&A Concrete Supply, Folsom Hotel, and Corbell, California, Champaign.
Ada Chevy saves you $12,500 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado High Country in stock after rebates. All of them.
Silverado savings spectacular now at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Ends 5/30/24.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton & Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till dad gets home. Think of us as dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Toyota's legendary truck event is on, and the deals are legendary. Get $2,000 cash back on any 2024 Tundra, or get a great lease on a new 2024 Tacoma 4x4. Get to your Toyota dealer now, because this truck event is gonna be Toyota. Let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit. Ends 9/30/24.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let's fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $67. Plumbing, sewer, electric, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to folsomlakehonda.com. Your one-stop Honda shop.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
Yeah, welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
From the right hash in a 24-24 ball game. Final 5 seconds of regulation. Cardi from 37 to win it. The rookie with the right foot. Kick on the way, and it's a Cardi party at SoFi Stadium. 27-24. Their first lead of the game with 2 seconds left. Joshua Cardi drills the game winner.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Sactown Sports.
I know you don't like to criticize broadcasters. You know better than any of us how hard it is, Dre. So I will. That's a terrible call. Cardi party, and your voice cracks. Come on. Don't like hearing that. That's all. It's just sour grapes.
That's
totally
what that
sour
is.
grapes. That's all that is.
That's all that is.
Jay said we were going to have him on, too.
Jay's
Not
like,
anymore.
not anymore. Okay. Oh man, I tell you, man, it's fellas, real quick here. As I look at the landscape of the NFL, and Whitey, you brought this up last segment, it's wide open. I feel like there are a lot of teams that are surprising the hell out of me. Pittsburgh, we talked about how good they are. Minnesota 3-0. They're legit, it looks like. Seattle 3-0. They're legit. I mean, it's there's a lot of teams that are surprising me right now.
Chiefs are 3-0.
And they playing their C game in 3-0.
Yeah, but the officials are playing their A game for the Chiefs. We talked about
What are we
that.
talking about? What are you talking about?
Okay, last week at the end of the game, Cincinnati committed a pass interference that set up the Chiefs for the game-winning field goal, and it was a good call.
Mm-hmm.
It was pass interference.
Good call, right?
It was bang bang. Well, it wasn't even bang bang. It was almost bang bang, but it was clearly it's like if you have pass interference, that's pass interference. So last night, Falcons at home against the Chiefs. There's 4:12 left, 3rd and 5 from the Kansas City 6. And Cousins back to throw, looking for Kyle Pitts, throws it to him in the back of the end zone, and Brian Cook, the safety, is his back to the ball, arms out, and runs into Kyle Pitts before the ball's there. You can see this picture. He's running into him.
That's not bang bang?
That's pass interference, right? And I don't know which way you're going to play this, but and no flag. And it was as blatant as a pass interference as you will ever see. Coach Herm Edwards after the game was like, yeah, that's just a missed call. That's just a missed call. So it's just unfortunate that this keeps happening. And it's hard not to perpetuate that notion that the Chiefs get, favorable calls from the officials. It was obvious. That would have set the ball at the 1 yard line for the Falcons. That happened, Drapes. It was it was an embarrassing miss. It's like, how can you not call that? This is an embarrassment.
I saw the play in question, Whitey, and not to make excuses for the officials. I think it's the back judge or whoever it is. From that angle, maybe he didn't see it. Maybe, he didn't see it. He might have been blocked by the offensive player. Should a flag been called? Yes. Did they miss it? Yeah, they missed that. Is there some league-wide conspiracy? No. They just get the benefit of doubt, sort of like the Lakers, over the years. We talked about it during the basketball season, the amount of free throws that they have. I don't think it's a league-wide conspiracy or anything like that. I just think that they're fortunate that officials mess up at the best possible time for the Chiefs.
Every game.
And the Chiefs aren't even playing well right now. Like I said, they're playing their C game right now, and yet they still find ways to win. Yeah. And yes, you're right. That should have been a pass interference. I'm not going to argue that. It might not have been as blatant as, I thought it might have even been holding before pass interference, before they got back, deep in the end zone. It just happens, man. I just got to chalk it up to officials being bad at that time.
Well, you could also make the point that if the Falcons kicked a field goal there, then they got the stop, which they did get, and then they could kick another field goal later. They went for it on 4th down there, didn't get it. Then when they got the ball back, they had to go for it again on 4th and short.
Right.
And John Robinson on the stretch, right? He got stuffed. So if they kick the field goal, so you can say Falcons still have a chance to win, but it's just unfortunate when you have this every week. For people that do say, hey, the officials are looking out for the Chiefs. I mean, you can't. How do you argue with them when you have that play last night? It's just such a bad look for the league.
It is a bad
terrible
look. Do you really think, though, the officials are giving the Chiefs consciously the benefit of the doubt?
Consciously, no. I wouldn't think so. I don't know.
Why would they do it so I don't. Because they're America's team. They're the darlings of the NFL right now.
They're all Swifties, all the officials.
I will say, though, and maybe the Chiefs have reached this level. Usually what happens is a team, they earn their stripes. They get to a level, Bulls in the mid-90s, and they start getting the benefit of the whistle, And so, to your point, I don't think it's consciously, we want the Chiefs to win. On a play like that, though, it's hard for me to believe that the official subconsciously is in his mind, I'm not going to call anything here against the Chiefs. Like, I can't fathom that. Maybe he decided we're going to let the players decide the game.
It seems to me that last 2 seasons, I've seen that a lot more in the end zone. They let stuff go in the end zone, not just with the Chiefs. It's incredible. It's like an NBA game at the end of a game now.
They swallow the whistle,
where they
right?
let things go.
Yeah.
It's just, but this was with 4 minutes left. It was a dreadful call. It's just unfortunate that story won't go away, but it will not go away as long as the officials continue to make terrible calls or non-calls in Chiefs games.
Somebody from the 916 weighed in on this. Too far question? Well, in my opinion, it's gone too far in the sense that the officiating is and has been so blatantly in favor of the Chiefs winning for so long, it's ridiculous. Last weekend was more of a poorly officiated game overall, but it still leaned in favor of the Chiefs.
And remember last year, Patrick Mahomes went off on the officials, remember?
He did. Yeah, he did go off. I don't know, man.
Don't those guys know they're on our payroll? For what we're paying, we expect better officiating.
Here's the thing, though. I find it sour grapes, sore loser if the first thing you point to is the officials. Point to a play in the game. Me, I've talked about it. I think the officials do the best they can. Sometimes they're bad. Sometimes, I was at NBA meetings last week and they had 3 officials up there meet with us and talk about it. And, one thing that they said that really resonated with me is and I'm not saying this applies to what we saw yesterday, they base their calls on the rules that are on the books. Meaning, sure, to me and you, it may look like a foul, but by the letter of the law, the way it's written in the NBA rule book, it's not. And they went through a number of plays and everything like that. And so it's a difficult job.
Fair enough, but by the rules in the NFL rulebook, that was pass interference.
Right. It probably should have been called.
The guy got screened off or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I think happened. But maybe somebody else should have saw the play or something like that. And so I don't think it's this conspiracy to get the Chiefs. If that was the case, wouldn't the Cowboys be the team that everybody? Why aren't the Niners?
Sure.
Niners used to be America's a huge following. How come they aren't getting the benefit of the calls?
Maybe they are. They're losing anyway.
Still losing.
When we come back, 49er problems, and Brocky ain't one, that's for sure. And we'll get your calls as well. 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140, taking you up to Monday Night Football. We got at least one of the games tonight on Sactown Sports. Drive, guys. Glad you're with us.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite news podcasts? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Stay up to date on everything newsworthy with podcasts like The Daily, Up First, and 5 Things Uninterrupted at Amazon.com/ad-free. Just head to Amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
I had been starting to be sick all the time at work, so I went to the doctor. He asked if people in the office smoked. He identified it as being exposed to secondhand smoke. I decided to sue. It was worth it in the end, California being the first state to be smoke-free in workplaces and restaurants in the country.
Andrea was part of a historic movement to ban smoking in the workplace. Learn how she and other Californians are fighting big tobacco at undo.org.
When I want to stretch out after a long day, my sofa needs to be comfortable, but it also needs to look attractive and inviting when guests come to visit. I am Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. We spend so much time on our living room sofas that we forget they're a focal point and a hint to our decorating tastes. Right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings sofa sale, you can save on every sofa, including gallery-exclusive custom-ordered FlexSteel furniture. Whether you're interested in a new sofa, sectional, or recliner, you can choose from hundreds of colors and fabrics. Nobody has more styles and choices than Naturewood Home Furnishings. And when it comes right down to it, it's all about choices and always about quality. Shop Naturewood for the look you love at a price you'll love even more. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings right now for this remarkable sofa sale. Off Highway 50 at Hazel, look for the water wheel.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
You've seen him on the roast of Tom Brady, and you've heard him host the #1 podcast in the world, Kill Tony. Now see Tony Hinchcliffe perform stand-up comedy live at the venue at Thunder Valley, Friday, October 11th. The man behind millions of views worldwide and countless sold-out shows brings his stand-up set to you, Tony Hinchcliffe. Critics call him a must-see. Don't miss this stand-up comedian, writer, podcast host, and professional wordsmith live in Sacramento. Tony Hinchcliffe. Get tickets at ThunderValleyResort.com.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, opportunity is a big part of September baseball, and in the case of the A's lefty Brady Basso, it's been a bit of a twisting path. When he took the mound for the Athletics against the White Sox on Friday the 13th, he was beginning his 5th stint with the ball club this year. He went out and fired 5 1/3 innings of shutout baseball that night to earn his first major league win.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver that includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
Who's ready for some fun on Saturday? Country in the Park 2 takes over Heart Health Park at Cal Expo with Dirk Bentley. What was I thinking? Parmalee. Plus line dancing and a mechanical bull, axe throwing, pop-up clothing stores, and food trucks. Tickets start as low as $52 at CITPfest.com. Grab your family and join us for Country in the Park 2 this Saturday at Heart Health Park. More at CITPfest.com.
Brought to you by A&A Concrete Supply, Folsom Hotel, and Corval, California, Champaign.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco! Sactown Sports.
The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sactown Sports.
Kyle Draper is back. How about that?
Yes. Happy to be back.
Welcome home to Sactown Sports. You know, we got 2 Monday night games. We take you up to Monday Night Football tonight. This is one of those nights. There's 4 of them this season.
Mm-hmm.
We have 2 Monday night games. And I don't know about you. Maybe you already knew. I didn't know why they were doing this, and I finally found out why or how they're doing it. It's the result of an 11-year media rights agreement the NFL finalized in March of 2021, according to The Athletic. And this deal included previously existing broadcast partners plus Amazon Prime Video, and it's granting more content to Disney. So they got this deal, and Disney like, we want more games. All right, you got it.
Okay.
Giving more content to Disney, increasing the number of games on ESPN and ABC from 17 to 23. And how do you do that when you've got that limited window?
Right.
You know, they don't get to do games on Sundays and Thursdays, so that's how you do it. Tonight, also September 30th, October 21st, and December 16th, 2 Monday night games.
What do you have a problem with that, with 2 games tonight, or is it just weird? You know what I mean?
It is weird. I don't like them having games simultaneously on Monday night. I don't like that. Can we just, like the old days, start one earlier and then, you know, make it easier for people to watch them both?
I guess. Yeah. You know, like a 4 o'clock our time and a 7 o'clock our time. But, what's interesting about it is, because of tradition, we're fine with it on Sundays.
Right.
But just Monday night, it's just, that's the one game. I mean, going way back, Al Michaels and that was a staple. Monday night
showcase. Monday night football, like a showcase game. If you have two on at the same time, obviously it's not such a showcase.
Yeah, you're right about that. And, it splits your audience up a little bit. And, it's my problem too is being out here, no offense, West Coasters, but the first game kicks off at 4:30.
Yeah.
I'm not home yet. I'm in the car. To me, historically, Monday Night Football is something you prepare and sit down as a family and watch and everything. Me and my dad, I can't watch nothing at 4:30.
Yeah. I have a buddy named Tom Lehner. I went to college with him. He's from Truckee, California. Mm-hmm. Anyway, after college at SF State, he moved back to Washington, D.C. He did some stuff in politics. But anyway, he told me his first Monday night back there, he leaves work early because he's all excited about Monday Night Football. And he drives home and he sits down in front of his TV in Washington, D.C. at 6 o'clock. And he's like, here we go.
Bro, you got to wait. You got to wait.
Realize, it's the
I'll wait till the next day.
3 more hours out here. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's
you would
difference.
Prefer staying up till midnight to
watch?
Did
I say that, Whitey?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
I'm saying I like, and historically, usually it's like the 5:30 start or the 5:15. The thing about it, because I was just on the East Coast, I was back there, and on Sunday, even Sunday Night Football, Monday night, everything was so late, man, and the game's kicking off at 8:30, and I'm like, I'm almost ready for bed, and so it takes some getting used to. But out here, like for instance, this game that kicks off at 4:30, I'm like, that's a little too early for me. 4:30, like I don't know. I find it weird. It weird.
So you're gonna stay here. We're gonna do like a mock show or something.
Nah, heck no. I got plans, big fella. I'm out of here at 4:28 whenever we're off, or 4:27. I'm out of here.
So I know a lot of people, we talked about it last week when you weren't here. We talked about how Brock Purdy will probably have to do more because he doesn't have the weapons. And, some people said, well, is he capable of doing that? Well, clearly he is, because that wasn't his fault yesterday. Brock Purdy had a great game, would have been even better if not for the 6 drops, 8 incompletions, 6 of them were drops. So he is not part of the problem right now. Clearly, they got problems. He's not part of them. We have this on the text line, 33.1140, 1-800-920-1140 from the 916. Who would have thought that with all the offensive stars missing, the Niners' biggest downfall this season, no playoffs this year, mark my words, it would be the secondary getting roasted for huge plays and terrible special teams that cost us our season. Wow.
Yeah, that might be stretching it a little too far. No playoffs, but, we thought the defense was going to be A-okay, I think.
I thought it was going to be really good. I thought it was going to be better this year.
Yeah, and I think after week 1 against Aaron Rodgers, where they looked great, we're like, okay, even Floyd got after it in week 1. Since then, just the big plays that they've given up, inability to stop the run. And I don't know if it's scheme as much because you bring in a new defensive coordinator, you elevate Sorensen. Maybe the guys that we're talking about just aren't as good as we thought they were. Maybe Nick Bosa, who had a hell of a season 2 years ago, just isn't quite the same player. Not saying he's not good anymore, but he's taken a step back. Maybe Travarius Ward in that secondary isn't as good. I mean, Tutu Atwell, how does he get behind 2 guys?
Isaac Bruce is playing for the Rams.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, man. And Kyron Williams out there looking like Marshall Faulk. It was just the way that their offense, outside of the first quarter, they only had the 1 possession, I think it was, in the first quarter. Niners did a hell of a job. But after that, they got exposed out there.
Need to make Brandon Staley the defensive coordinator. And then also trade for Hassan Reddick. Boom. I've just fixed your defense.
Unbelievable, Whitey. You know what this sounds like, man? This sounds like you living in a 5,000 square foot house And now you want to put on an addition too
Yes.
to make it sick.
You
You
just
already
have
got
to
the
win.
biggest house on the block. You got the most talent. You want more talent?
Yes.
We can't go into each season talking about, on paper, they're the most talented team in the league. And then once the games play, it's like, oh, man, we need more talent.
It doesn't matter what we say. They have to win.
That's the Warriors going out and getting Kevin Durant in 2016.
How'd that work out for 'em?
They won a couple shots. They won some titles, but you had already won 73 games. You're already good. You're already supposed to be great.
You can't get Yannick Ngakoue. He's just signed with the Ravens. So,
okay. Yeah, it's no way they can trade for Hassan Reddick, right?
I wouldn't think so.
I
But,
bet you.
I mean, if I were them right now, it's one of the things hey, there's no way we do that.
You can't
right?
afford him anyway, though, after this year, right? He wants the new deal.
Yeah, that would be the trick, I would think. Just don't want all that money.
You just need
got a lot of cap space, though.
Let's be
all
honest.
in on this year, baby.
Hargrave has not lived up to his billing. Can we you agree with that? Like the way he was in Philly versus now, still a good player, but he's not that much of a difference maker out there, you know? And so I look at the defense, guys just aren't performing up to what we expected of them. And now, you know, I don't know what the next go-to is. Like, what do? You got the Patriots coming in. They're an awful offensive team. 3 points this last week. This is a get-right game for them. Like, this defense should annihilate the Patriots. They should dominate. And if they don't, then there's some real concern going on here.
Yeah, I agree. But I said last week, if the pass rush isn't leading the charge against the Rams, then you've got a problem. So at least in the short term, they've got an issue because that was, you know, everyone likes to say, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Well, when you lose, what are you going to do? Not accept it? But I do think it's staring you right there in the face. And people keep talking on the text line here about the special teams too, the defense and the special teams.
Yeah.
At least it's not a matter of, you know, what's the problem? We can't figure it out. It's pretty clear what the problem is right now. Stunning that we're to this point, but at least you know what areas the 49ers need to shore up.
Yeah, and when we say special teams, we also got to throw in the fake punt.
We knew they were going to do that.
Yeah, right. You got to throw in the fake punt. And it's almost like the Niners, you know, they say, yeah, we knew, but then they get surprised almost. It was like almost a surprise yesterday. And I would say this, and maybe Jay could chime in on this too. Maybe it's just me being a hater. When it comes time to make winning plays, this defense just hasn't done it. I'm going back to the Super Bowl too. When it's time to get off the field and make it playmaking. Yeah. It's, you know, and I don't know if it's the Greenlaw injury, you know, are we asking too much of Fred Warner or whatever? Guys got to go out there and make plays, and they didn't yesterday when they needed them most.
All right, take a quick timeout, come right back and look more at what the heck happened yesterday and what Matthew Stafford said and how he really summed it up when he said, the NFL is an improbable business. Week 3 full of a lot of stunners. More on that when we come back to Sactown Sports.
A new Honda? Nice. Well, it was like this. It was a super hot day, so we all stopped for some ice cream. When bam, the AC went out. My dad started sweating and was all, man, I stink. And my brother was like, I hate this car. And my mom was all, I'm dying in here. Then I said, it's time to call Stockton Honda. Then Dad was like, honey, you're right. I knew you were my favorite. And just like that, Stockton Honda to the rescue.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room. And guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Tommy, I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
You did it, Boston. The Celtics are NBA champions. It's time to come together and celebrate in style. Go to NBAstore.com right now to get all your championship gear. The official locker room collection with t-shirts for the whole crew. The official locker room hat and everything you need to celebrate the Larry O'Brien Championship Trophy. Celtics fans, it's your time, so get your gear. NBAstore.com, a Fanatics experience.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Sacramento Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. They believe it's all about people and choices. Their goal is to find the car that fits your lifestyle. With their huge inventory of models, they've got the right car and more importantly, at the right price every time. Experience for yourself why their customers drive away smiling. Discover the difference because it's not just about the car, it's also about the people. Experience the Sacramento Dodge Jeep and Chrysler difference off Business 80 next to Hagen Oaks, or you can find them online, SacSuperstore.com.
Yeah, no, that was what a job by our group. Just continuing to battle, continuing to fight. And, you know, there's a lot of guts. There's a lot of resilience in this group. And it's just one game, but I'm really proud of them. I'm really proud of them for a lot of the things that went into it. Guys that had to step up. I thought special teams was a huge edge for us today. I mean,
your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
What a nice way to put it. Sean McVay, coach of the Rams. I thought special teams was a huge advantage for us today. For the 49ers, if they're able to hang on to the football and just kick a field goal at the end of the first half, the lead is probably insurmountable at that point.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They had an opportunity, you know, a dropped here, a missed field goal there, and you know, and that goes back to what I was saying earlier. It just seems like, you know, once something happens, it sort of snowballs and it becomes contagious. You know, Moody had been great, you know, this season. He had been phenomenal, and he misses, albeit a 55-yarder. You know, Bell, you know, he had an early drop. I understand that, but then, you know, a critical play. You got to go out there and make those kind of plays, and they just weren't able to do it yesterday.
Yeah, Denny Green, he used to coach, you know, he coached Stanford,
yeah,
he was 49ers coach, he's Cardinals coach. He coached here 1 year or a couple of years with the Mountain Lions, but he used to say, dropping a football, he said, it's un-American. He says, everybody, every kid is throwing a football in the street. You drop a football,
catch from the day you
American. And when you're a receiver and the ball hits you in the hands in a big play, I'm sure no one feels worse than Ronnie Bell. But I thought that was great the way Brock Purdy handled it, saying, and you pointed out too, you said, it could have been a better throw. But Brock Purdy said, I thought I could have made a better throw there, and we're all behind him.
And that's one thing about Brock. Brock is never going to point the finger. I mean, we've seen him, you know, last week he did it as well. You know, I got to be better. I got to make a better throw to help my guys out. But to your point, sometimes the ball doesn't always have to be perfect. Sometimes you can make adjustments. Sometimes, why don't the receivers sometimes bail Brock Purdy out? And I thought Jawan Jennings did a hell of a job of that yesterday. Some of those catches Jawan Jennings had, like that in traffic, one-on-one jump balls. Jawan Jennings made hell of a plays, you know, but Ronnie Bell, he didn't make a play in that situation.
He made one. Jawan Jennings made one catch. It was like, that's almost impossible.
Right.
Yeah. There were also, well, I was going to say there were a lot. I don't know if there were a lot, but there was at least one fight yesterday. Did you see
the one
video?
I sent you or no?
Yeah.
Text line.
I just, you know, and obviously a lot of alcohol involved, a lot of frustrations. There were punches thrown, and there was somebody's wife or girlfriend was in there, and she's swinging, and there's like 4 or 5 or 6 Rams fans and 49er fans mixing it up on a concourse there. Where was security? Wouldn't security typically just come in with something like that? I mean, it's right there in the concourse.
Yeah,
It's not in the seats.
security, they don't pay those guys enough. Like a lot of times security is, retired people or something like that who serve in that area. I will say this fight, and I'm looking at it here too, the Rams fan and Niners, this happens in every stadium, every week, in every game. Like, it's out of control in NFL games. Like, this is it just now we get to see them all. We capture them all on phones, but it's ridiculous.
One guy got dropped and he got up, but who knows what kind of damage was done to him. And it doesn't look like anyone was seriously hurt, but you never know. And it's just, it reminds me of the whole thing with the poor Giants fan down at Dodger Stadium. Whatever it was 10 years ago, whatever it was. Guy ended up with brain damage.
Right. I mean, I'm watching it. The woman got knocked down, and she's trying to square up too.
Her man got punched, not badly, but he got punched, and then she went after the guy, and things escalated from there.
Did you see the end of it? That one Niners fan got decked and went, that's pretty bad.
That's cross. Yeah. He gets back up, though.
Yeah, he's a little wobbly, though. He's a little woozy. Yeah, this happens all over,
That's
though.
scary.
Like, and, I don't want to paint no pictures of either of these fan bases. This happens every game that goes on.
It goes on so long. And obviously, based on what you said, I'm expecting too much. But at some point, doesn't somebody from security just come in at least?
Yeah.
And that goes on a long time. And again, it's not in the seats. It's in the concourse.
Yeah, and I don't even see any security in this
nothing.
video, which is crazy to think about it. I mean, this I'm sorry to laugh, but this guy came out of nowhere with his hands up, ready to duke it out, too. This is alcohol right here, man. This is alcohol infused. Yep.
A lot of people who, make predictions, place legal bets, they probably were into alcohol last night, too, because it was another strange day of results in the NFL. Denver 26, Tampa Bay 7. New York Giants 21 at Cleveland 15. Carolina winning at Vegas 36-22. Matthew Stafford said it best last night after the Rams when he said the NFL is an improbable business. It sure seems to be that to an extreme degree 3 weeks into this season.
Maybe more so than before in previous years, right? I feel like
feels like it.
Yeah, and maybe things will settle down and work themselves out. As the season goes on, the cream will rise to the top, if you will. But the Giants getting a win over Cleveland, I thought was huge. The Texans, even though the Vikings, are a good team, Vikings mollywopped the Texans. I thought that would be a great game. A great defense going against, a good offense. That didn't happen. I had the Chargers beating the Steelers as well, but somehow Justin Fields is working his magic, and the Steelers are getting wins. The Broncos, led by my guy Bo Nix, going into Tampa.
So a rookie finally threw a touchdown pass?
Finally, right? It's and the Panthers beating the Raiders. I don't know, and this is what I said earlier. I feel like it's wide open, in both conferences right now. When I look at the NFC, let's say, Whitey, if I'm being honest, I think the Eagles have a shot. Minnesota, Detroit. I'm going to throw Green Bay in there because once Love gets back, I feel like they have a shot.
How about the Saints? I threw them in last week, and Jay threw them right back at me.
I'm keeping them in there. I'm going to keep the Saints in there.
He's taking it off. He's waving it off.
Jay, they've given up 44 points through 3 games. Their defense has been stellar, a plus 59 point differential. So I got to include the Saints. I got to put respect on them. Tampa Bay, I'm going to still throw some respect on them. Seattle. I think the NFC West might be better than I expected this year, actually. It's going to be a dogfight.
Is this to win the Super Bowl or to get out and get to the Super Bowl?
Playoffs. Get to the playoffs. Before, I thought going in, you probably had only 4 legit, the top of the top. I thought my Eagles, I thought Detroit, I thought Green Bay, and I thought San Francisco. Now I got to throw a bunch of other teams out there to me, the NFC is almost a toss-up.
You
Jay.
think the Saints, Tampa have legit options to come out the NFC and make it to the Super Bowl?
I do.
Wow.
Yes, they're playing much better than I expected. And let's not forget, Tampa won a playoff series, a playoff game last year.
Did.
Like, they aren't that far off. So I got to put some respect on them. And the Saints.
Yeah, but they beat a reeling team that just shut up.
When?
Tampa Bay last year. They beat a team that
They
should
did.
really have been there.
They probably, but they're playing better than, I expected. And so I got to give them credit too. It's not just the Niners and everybody else, fellas.
The Niners worry meter.
No, I'm not saying that.
I think the Niners worry meter right now is like, it's definitely registering. But to me, the team with the most to be concerned about is Dallas.
Yeah. 2 home losses. They had a big comeback yesterday, but then you got Dak going at CeeDee Lamb. You got issues there. And they didn't get much better. And their defense got annihilated yesterday for 3 quarters. And I know they came back, but to me, of those teams you just mentioned, and I don't even know if you mentioned Dallas. Maybe you didn't. I didn't.
In that group. That's, to me, the team that was supposed to contend that right now has to look in the mirror and go, yeah, maybe not this year.
Yeah, and the thing with Dallas, too, is, as I look at the numbers, they're giving up about 30 points per game.
Woo.
It just seems off. Something just seems wrong with the team. They seem broken behind the scenes. The defense is a sieve, it's a turnstile, and something just like the offense has been okay, 77 points through 3 games, but defensively they can't stop anybody. And I'm looking at they've given up the most points in the NFC outside of the Rams, who gave up 91. Remember, the Rams got busted up last week, and so I'm not on the Cowboys bandwagon. I don't put them among those other teams I just mentioned. I think they're a tier below.
But the 49ers had the worst loss of the week yesterday, in my opinion, of all the teams. I know the Raider fans are stunned, but because they had the lead,
right,
and they blew the lead the way they did, to me, that was the worst loss of the weekend.
Yeah, you're up 7 with 2:52 left to go, or whatever it is. I didn't look at the win probability.
Those analytics guys, it was very high, very high 90s again,
right,
for the 49ers.
Yeah, you're right. And it, based on who they are, what they're trying to accomplish, the fact that they led 14-0 at one point, led by 10 early in the fourth quarter, that should be money in the bank, right?
The Broncos over the Buccaneers? You think the Niners loss for the Bucket or is bigger than the Buccaneers?
Yeah,
I think we got to remove ourselves from the fact that this is a local squad. I'm talking about national and really looking at it like the Buccaneers were 2-0, and they just beat the Lions. They lost to the Broncos.
To be a Super Bowl contender.
And so are the Buccaneers too. What Drapes is kind of saying.
Yeah, because the Broncos have looked awful.
They're terrible.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jay. I think. To me, that's probably the most surprising one.
That's not Matt Stafford playing for the Denver Broncos. That's Bo Nick's 3rd game going into Baker Mayfield 2-0, just beat the Lions.
Yeah, they're still 2-1. They're still 2-1. It's like that was a bad loss. To me, the 49ers loss was much worse. That's my opinion. By the way, good news today for the Vikings. Sam Darnold underwent an MRI and no structural damage. He has a bruise in his sore. Does not appear to be any concern that he could miss next week's game against Green Bay. So
put
he
some
had said yesterday,
respect on him.
He was asked about it, and he said, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. And some people thought, he thinks it's going to be bad. But the MRI came back in a favorable light for Sam Darnold.
Comeback player of the year, Sam Darnold, right there. He's been like
what?
He's from benching, being bad, obscurity. How bad do the Jets look now, right? Handling their quarterback situation. Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, guys, former Jets. They had the answer right there the whole time.
They did.
And they let it go. Yeah.
Vlade has an answer to those who wonder whether he made a mistake not drafting Luka. You hear what Vlade had to say?
I heard that.
You want to get into that a little bit?
I guess.
We'll do that next with Kyle Draper on Sactown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Even in a broken Washington, one person delivers results. Our Congressman Kevin Kiley. Working across party lines, Kevin Kiley has helped pass bipartisan bills to lower prices for gas, groceries, and utilities, provide tax relief for the victims of recent wildfires and storms, and to protect Lake Tahoe today and for future generations. Kiley has secured millions of federal dollars to ease traffic on our roads, expand our water supply, and protect our homes and communities from wildfires. And because he believes public safety comes first, Kevin Kiley is working to crack down on repeat offenders, retail thieves, and fentanyl dealers who prey on our youth. Kevin Kiley is always ready to work across party lines to get things done, and never afraid to take on the establishment in Washington or Sacramento when that's what's needed to protect our quality of life. Delivering results. That's Kevin Kiley. Let's keep him working for us.
I'm Kevin Kiley, and I approve this message. Paid for by Kevin Kiley for Congress.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite news podcasts? Good news! Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Stay up to date on everything newsworthy with podcasts like The Daily, Up First, and 5 Things Uninterrupted at Amazon.com/ad-free. Just head to Amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Tommy! I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
DC here, and if you've been thinking about a new car, you gotta see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia. You can always count on low payments and zero down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and so much more. The Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
Got a Raiders update for you here from our friend Vic Tafer, writing for The Athletic. Raiders Antonio Pierce not fully committing to Gardner Minshew as QB1. How about that?
For this upcoming week?
Yeah.
Really? Already making a change?
Maybe.
Contemplating?
Aiden O'Connell played late in Sunday's game. He said he was looking for a spark. And then today, it's not clear who the quarterback is going to be for the Raiders this week.
I hope Antonio Pierce don't mess this up in terms of the opportunity that he has. I don't think Gardner Minshew was the problem this past week for the Raiders. They weren't able to stop anybody. You know, they let Chuba Hubbard, is that how you Chuba Hubbard, rush for over 100 yards. They let Andy Dalton throw for over 300 yards. To me, it was the defense. And once you start playing musical chairs with the QBs, like, wasn't Gardner Minshew good enough last week?
I'm hoping it's just a matter of, hey, see, I'm holding everyone accountable.
Yeah,
maybe deep down's like, he's going to be the quarterback.
Right.
But I just want everyone to think that we're evaluating everything right now.
Yeah, everybody on edge. Like, nobody's safe.
Right.
After a loss like that.
Justin Wise in the Chateau says, Bosa had a great comment. I think we have to feel the loss for sure. We can't just move on and think it's fine. Yeah, well, let's hope so, right?
Yeah, we better feel it. Like, if it's just, it's just, we'll get them next time, guys. No, I mean, shoot, like I mentioned earlier, you're 2 games behind the Seahawks, and not saying the Seahawks are going to be there at the end, but you don't want to, wind up 3 games behind after just 4 games of the season. Like, you got to have some sense of urgency right now.
So a couple program notes. Yeah, we take you up to Monday Night Football tonight. And then what are we doing a week from today? Where are we going to be?
Media Day.
What?
Out at the facility, yes.
Kings Media Day?
Sacramento Kings basketball is back. What are we, 2 weeks away from our first game? 9 and 7, 16 days, I think, from our first preseason game as well.
That?
Yeah. Basketball is back, dude. I can't wait. And everywhere I go and talk to people, you could feel the excitement. You could feel, DeMar DeRozan, he's going to be great. I'm at NBA meetings last week. Everybody's like, man, Kyle, your squad is going to be good. I'm like, I know. Got DeMar DeRozan, and so I'm ready, man. Next week, Media Day.
What'd you think of what Vlade had to say? Vlade talking with a European newspaper and talking about the drafting of Luka. He was asked about it. Did you make a mistake? Time will tell if I was wrong. And he says, I still think De'Aaron Fox can be a superstar player, so we'll see. So Vlade saying, right now it looks like I was wrong to not draft Luka, but time will tell. What do you think, Dre?
Vlade. He's our guy. He's an all-time Kings great. We had our top 40. Vlade very high up there, still held in high esteem within the organization. But it's okay to admit you messed it up, because this isn't a Luka versus Fox thing. That's what got you into this mess in the first place. This is a Luka versus Marvin Bagley's thing. And it's clear Bagley's already gone. It's Luka's an MVP candidate, been to a finals. It's okay to say, you know what? This is what I was thinking at the time. In hindsight, I probably should have just rolled the dice, took Luka, and let the chips fall. Don't double down on it, Vlade.
From the Croatian outlet index.hr, quote, I had De'Aaron Fox at that position, whom I drafted a year earlier. At that moment, I thought that Fox was a player who could become a franchise player in the next period. Time will tell if I was wrong. As things stand now, it looks like I am, but I have faith that Fox will have a better career. And he also said, he says Fox and Luka could not have played together. He says the reason Luka and Kyrie Irving play together is because Kyrie's a natural scorer. And he says Fox needs the ball, and he says they couldn't have played together.
How about this? What did Monty McNair do? Drafted Tyrese Halliburton. Let it play out, though. Draft Luka and let it play out. See, okay, maybe it doesn't work, but now you got options. Instead, he picked the wrong guy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the thing. This isn't about Fox and Luka. He didn't mention Marvin Bagley, did he? He didn't mention Bagley.
Irving is a classic scorer, as is Luka. Fox is not. He is a player who needs the ball just like Luka needs it. I could only take Luka, but then I would have to trade Fox. Interestingly, Phoenix also skipped Luka, and then their coach was Igor Kokoshkov, who was his coach in Slovenia, end quote. So, Vlade indicated that, there's other people who passed on.
Vlade. Yeah, I get it. It's like saying, Michael Jordan, who's averaging 35. What? We got to see how Sam Bowie pans out and all this. And no, it's okay to admit you made a mistake. Here's the thing. Let me ask you this, though, because we had this conversation very early on in our Drive Guys tenure. And at the time, we were like, man, we're happy Luka's not on this team. Are we still feeling that way? Are we still, you know what? Let bygones be by. We're better off without him now.
I thought that the Beam year 2 years ago, everyone was so excited that it didn't matter that they passed on Luka, which I guess is different than saying, they were right not to. It just seemed like it didn't matter. Last year, obviously with Dallas getting in the finals, it mattered again. I think if they play anywhere near what they did 2 years ago this year, whether it was right or wrong, I just don't think it'll matter as much to fans. You know what I mean? That's my opinion.
Right.
Maybe it was wrong, but if you still are able to figure something out and become a really good team, then okay, it was a mistake, but you've overcome it. 2 years ago, I thought they did that and people didn't care. Last year, it's like, oh, that cloud's back.
Well, they did it because they were better than Dallas 2 years ago.
Yeah.
You remember?
Right.
Luka and them, they made the trade for Kyrie and it was awful. And we're like, wow, glad we're not them, But then Luka gets to the finals, it comes back. And it's the same thing with Tyrese Halliburton, too. Let's keep it a buck here. every time Tyrese has success, there are going to be people that say, man, we should have kept him, or man, we had him. Every time Luka has success, if Luka wins an MVP, trust me, we will talk on this station in Sacramento. Damn, we could have had that guy. So for Vlade's point, he needs Luka not to become great, not to win titles, not to win MVPs. That's the only way Vlade can live this down. But the trend that is on right now, every Luka success is a reminder that, damn, we could have had that guy.
Marvin Bagley was not a good pick.
Damn, that was a bad pick. I got to look at that draft.
They wanted Porter badly. They really wanted Porter.
But the injury,
they got scared off, yeah. And I'm not saying it was the right pick, but they were really heavy on Michael Porter at that time.
Yeah, that would have been, obviously a better pick. What happened with Bagley, though? You guys were around, and, is it? I don't think the kid doesn't have talent. I wonder, was the fit, the expectations, the comparisons to Luka too much for him to handle?
I know Coach Yeager just wouldn't play him. It's like, and the whole thing where Marvin Bagley's dad was very upset, but they wouldn't play him. And I think they wouldn't play him because defensively he was really poor.
He just was injured, man.
Yeah,
and
it's not I think he just wasn't healthy. He never could play. He'd get comfortable for 20 games, and then something would happen. Then he'd be gone for 50 games. Then he'd come back, play 10 games, and then he'd be gone for 20 games. Then he'd come back, play 5 games, and he'd be gone for 10 games. I just think it was healthy. I still to this day don't know if anyone can say they absolutely to the point know if Marvin Bagley could have played here.
Jay, could you play the breaking news?
Oh,
man.
we got breaking news?
What
is this?
When it breaks,
we have it first.
It's Sactown Sports breaking news.
What you got? Chris Watkins shared this with us from Matt Barrows on X. Javon Hargrave partially tore his triceps and will be out for the season. Kyle Shanahan said Javon Hargrave partially tore his triceps, will be out for the season.
Massive blow.
According to Matt Barrows from The Athletic.
Massive blow.
It's Hassan Reddick time.
He's cut. I think he doesn't. I think he won't make it past this season.
Who, Hargrave?
Yeah, he hadn't done nothing in the 49ers.
No, he hasn't. He's been a massive disappointment. And I wonder, Jay and Whitey, when you look at the defensive line, we were just talking about it. Where do they go from here? Like, are they deep enough? Or to Whitey's point, not saying Hassan Reddick's the guy, but do they need to go out there a la last year and make a big splash right now on that defensive line? Make some kind of move.
It's apparent that Kyle Shanahan values quarterbacks and guys that get to the quarterback more than he values any other position. So Javon Hargrave's absence will probably encourage them at the very least to look long and hard at whether there's a big-time upgrade available there. Maybe there's not, but I would suspect that it just seems like the way he looks at things, those are the impactful guys. So he's going to be looking for another impactful guy if there's anybody out there.
I'm with you because I'm looking at it, and I'm looking up at the backups. And Jay, you're obviously a Niners fan, diehard. Are you confident in Jordan Elliott, Gross Matos, or whoever it may be, or do they need to go out there and make a move?
Yeah, with the knowledge of it's just week 4, I think you gotta let it play out a few more weeks, kind of see what it is. Gross Matos coming back from an injury this past week. Givens is supposed to have been a guy they want to lean on the last couple of years, but hasn't been healthy.
Floyd needs to play better.
Yeah, I'll give you another one. And you guys touched on it about Dre Greenlaw. Devondre Campbell's been kind of MIA too. Like this team for me defensively, Drapes, and I think you hit it right. And I know we have to talk about the Brock Purdy's and stuff, but I'll be honest, the rest of the week, I mean, this is y'all's show, but I don't even need to hear about Brock Purdy.
Right.
We really need to dive into the fact of what's going on with Shavarius Ward. What's up with Devondre Campbell? Where are you, Javon Hargrave? Leonard Floyd? I don't even know if you playing. Isaac Biedem. Like, this might be time to talk about Ronaldo Green. Jair Brown looked good on PFF, but he sure is missing a lot of plays.
You notice how often Yadam's name comes up when it's something bad? Like, what happened there?
Yeah.
When Isaac
But what's
Yadam's name
good?
comes up.
Have you heard anything good?
No,
Week
not
one?
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's the offense. For one thing, Brock Purdy has something that's built into the form of, you could say you missing 2, 3, 4 guys. Well, what's up with the defense? Because you're really just missing Dre Greenlaw. With the fact that Huff, this is his first week, came back, played well. But you can see he still's got he missed a few tackles. Kyron Williams flipping over him. Like you could tell his timing isn't there. But defensively, and I'm with you, Drapes. At what point in time are the 49ers going to put their foot in the ground defensively and say, we're not giving this up no more? We've seen it too many times on the back end when it comes to Super Bowl.
I think one thing we're seeing is how much the defense relies on the offense to keep them off the field. Defense is better when the offense
drives,
has
long drives. Yeah.
Take a look here at the stunning number that shows where the 49ers did miss their offensive stars the most when we come back to Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm meteorologist Heather Waldman of the KCRA3 Weather Center. Mild morning, hot afternoon ahead for Tuesday. Temperatures starting in the low 60s will end up in the mid to upper 90s in the valley. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA News and the KCRA app.
Who's ready for some fun on Saturday? Country in the Park 2 takes over Heart Health Park at Cal Expo with Dirks Bentley, Harmony, Sasha, plus line dancing and a mechanical bull, axe throwing, pop-up clothing stores, and food trucks. Tickets start as low as $52 at CITPfest.com. Grab your family and join us for Country in the Park 2 this Saturday at Heart Health Park. More at CITPfest.com.
Brought to you by A&A Concrete Supply, Folsom Hotel, and Corval, California Champaign.
I would end the day with sore feet, sore legs. The drugstore inserts that I was purchasing were really not very useful at all. I walked into the Good Feet store and the guy kind of grinned at me and said, I hear that a lot. I was living with chronic pain before going to the Good Feet store. Now I don't really have that problem. I'm able to do the things that I expect to be able to do, even at my advanced age. I feel pretty good about what's going on.
Come to the Good Feet store now for a free fitting and test walk.
When an overwhelmed injury victim calls Ashton or Price, we immediately remove their legal burden and introduce them to the very best medical care in the region. They focus on their health and we handle all the rest. When they reach the end of their medical journey and are reunited with happiness and hope, we unleash our decades of legal experience to obtain maximum compensation. We are real, local, experienced litigators and snappy dressers too. Consultation's free and there's never a fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Silverado savings spectacular now at Maida Chevy with $13,000 off MSRP. Every new Silverado half-ton LTZ in stock after rebates.
$12,500 off every Silverado half-ton High Country after rebate.
And $11,000 off all new Silverado half-ton RSTs exclusively at Maida Chevy at MaidaChevy.com. Sacramento Silverado headquarters.
Whatever Silverado you choose, you'll save thousands at Maida Chevy. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers. Must trade in 2010 model year or newer. Ends 9/30/24.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Your new home for 49ers football in the 916 Sactown Sports.
Well, yeah, we just shared with you some less than great news here. Injury news on the 49ers. Javon Hargrave partially tore his triceps, will be out for the season. Kyle Shanahan said triceps is like over here, kind of between the elbow and the your shoulder.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
for football players, when that's torn, it's like, forget about it. The arm is useless. Also, this afternoon, Kyle Shanahan announcing that Christian McCaffrey traveled to Germany over the weekend to visit with a specialist. He's expected to spend a few days there this week to get help for his ailing Achilles, which I would guess is that platelet-rich plasma
PRP.
therapy. Yeah. Get that because one reason the Achilles doesn't heal necessarily is because there's not that much blood there. So that's one of the things they try to do. I think Shohei has had that.
Did he
on a
really?
thing or two.
Okay.
Had
Okay.
Yeah. PRP.
All right.
So, yeah. So that's on, visiting specialist. Hopefully he'll be feeling better soon. On the other hand, man, if he has to go to Germany,
yeah, that's
not really doing well.
Yeah, that's not. I mean, I would imagine that's almost last ditch effort. Like, all right, let's try this, see if it works.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, where do you go from here?
Mhm.
Right? You going to Germany to see a specialist. This is a rough day of Niners news, man.
Brock Purdy has, what'd you say? Brock Purdy also
back soreness day to day, according to Kyle Shanahan today. So I don't even know where to begin with this, man. This is just,
Pete Youngman when you need him.
Right. And Jay, you tweeted out something the other day about the medical staff or something. Remember you sent that out?
Yeah.
What did you say there?
Just kind of mimicking what I've said on this show, Drapes, is the nutritionists, the trainers, the doctors, they all need to be evaluated. It's almost kind of one of those things where and you guys know this, you've been around different team sports, covered this for a long time. And that's why we say the legendary Pete Youngman. The legendary trainer for the Los Angeles Lakers escapes me, but
Gary Vitti?
There you go.
Vitti, yeah.
GV. And so a lot of people talk about how great he was, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's something going on up there. And the routine. I tweeted out, and the routine. Shanahan's routine, the team's routine. It's got to change. They have too many injuries.
Yeah, they're piling up now. And I'll real quick, I remember back, when I was working in Boston, covering the Celtics, doing stuff with them. And this is when our boy Isaiah Thomas, IT, the pizza guy, was there, and he had his hip situation. And we know what happened there. But after the season, they cleaned house, medical staff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they cleared house and, brought in a whole new crew and everything. And, I think they've done a good job. But even here in Sacramento with the Kings, a couple of years ago, we made some big changes in the medical staff department. That's a real thing, Jay. That's like, it's people, not all doctors are equal.
Yes.
Not all nutritionists, medical specialists, whatever, are equal.
Remember,
That's
that
the
was
thing.
one of the problems for the Pelicans a few years ago. They basically, their medical staff was like the Saints medical staff. And people were saying, wait, that's two different sports. What are we doing here?
I remember that. And you guys remember, I'm sure, Whitey, the Phoenix Suns back in the day historically had a great
Shaq
medical
and
staff.
Steve Nash,
Yeah.
they brought them back
Yeah,
from the dead,
right.
practically. How'd they do that?
Exactly.
Oh, no.
But they extended their careers a little longer. And so, to Jay's point, this is piling up big, and it seems to be year after year. Outside of last year was probably their most healthy year in a while, but this year and these are star players. Like Hargrave hasn't done anything in it, but losing him, that's a massive hole, I feel like, in that 49ers front four.
So more bad news on the injury front for the 49ers today after that really difficult loss. Here's where the 49ers missed their stars yesterday, and they should have won anyway. According to Next Gen Stats, 16.7% of the 49ers passing yards came after the catch yesterday. That's the lowest percentage of team passing yards coming after the catch the 49ers have had in a game since Kyle Shanahan took over. It's the only time that's been under 20%.
Right.
So, that's one of the things McCaffrey and especially Debo
do
so well, and Kittle as well. They're great with the yak.
Yeah, yards after the catch.
Offense is built on the yak, and they didn't have their yak guys yesterday, and they paid for it, but still should have won the stinking game.
Should have won, had a chance, and then you throw in those star players you just mentioned. Maybe those drives go longer. Maybe that 55-yard field goal that Moody missed is a 43-yarder or something like that. And that all plays a part of it, but they still had enough. Nobody predicted Juwan Jennings to turn into Randy Moss overnight, but he did. So they still had enough to get it done. It's the defense, the special teams, the coaching. That's where they fell apart. I mean, the Rams were, dog, they didn't even have their top 2 receivers. We were talking about it. They didn't have 2 offensive linemen, and yet they still were able to move the ball, especially after the first quarter. And let me ask you this too, fellas. When's the defense going to win one for the offense? Like, do the Niners now got to score 31 a game to get a W?
Yep.
When's the defense going to hold somebody to 14, 16 points, something like that? Can we see that? I mean, you're giving up big plays after big plays, special teams giving up big plays. To Jay's point, he said, when are you going to hunker down and say, we got you this game? Brock shouldn't always have to be on point and be perfect for this team to get a win.
By the way, are you still a Gonzaga fan?
Yeah.
Even though they're Pac-12 now.
Shut up.
Gonzaga leaving the West Coast Conference to join the Pac-12.
This is fantastic.
Thank you, Jay, for
This
that
is
update.
amazing. This is a huge. Shut up.
No football team.
Yeah. But basketball? Man. But the problem is it's not the same Pac-12. I'm getting all excited. Oh, yeah, maybe they'll be at Cal. Maybe they'll be at Stanford.
It is.
Cal and Stanford's coming back, fellas.
You think so?
I think so.
I
think
agree.
they're coming back.
It's going to be a few years, though, but I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I think they're going to fight to get back.
Sac State, Sac 12. It's a very ambitious plan. I don't know that they're
I
going to
think Mountain West might be more logical for them. I mean, not trying to pour cold water or anything like that. But I will say, I saw the report. Pete Thamel said Utah State has an invite to the Pac-12. And I'm like, Utah State? Really? Utah State? Why can't Sac State? Right. Yeah. So anything's possible, right?
Yeah. So that's more breaking news today. Report that Gonzaga headed to the Pac-12.
Fresno State, San Diego State, Boise State.
All the states.
Gonzaga.
Damn.
Oregon State, Washington State.
Who was the other? Was it Colorado State? Were they the other one?
I think
no,
so.
they're big.
No?
We're missing one, right?
They're big guys,
It was
right?
4 last
San
weekend.
Diego State, Fresno State, Boise State,
And there was one other team.
It might be Colorado State. Maybe you need to look that up. Then you got the Oregon State and Washington State. Plus Gonzaga. That's not looking. It's not looking the worst now, fellas. It's not looking the worst.
Did you see UNLV said they're staying though?
Yes.
Where that hurts. If they would have got UNLV, that would have been a nice little.
And the Tulane and Memphis, which keep them.
Yeah.
We don't need.
Yeah,
you
I don't
know,
need them.
the Pac-12 doesn't need them. You
Yeah.
keep them. Tulane ain't doing nothing for Whitey Gleason on a Saturday.
The Green Wave. Oh, we got a lot of breaking news today. We'll tell you how the 49ers were exposed again and look at today's breaking 49er injury news when we come back to Sactown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
When it comes to fighting for families and protecting kids, no one works harder than our Assemblyman, Josh Hoover. A member of the Bipartisan Problem Solvers Caucus, Hoover has worked across party lines and proposed tougher penalties for fentanyl crimes, stricter sentences for drug trafficking near schools, and RILA's law to make sure anyone who abuses a child is held accountable. A former school board member, Josh has fought to support school police officers, prohibit homeless encampments near schools, and increase funding for school facilities. Josh Hoover knows that families have been paying more for everything from gas and groceries to utilities and insurance.
In the Assembly, Josh is working to provide relief to families, reduce the cost of housing, and stop Gavin Newsom from raising gas prices even more next year. Josh Hoover is making a difference for our families, our community, and our future. Our voice, our Assemblyman, Josh Hoover.
Paid for by Hoover for Assembly 2024.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to folsomlakehonda.com. Your one-stop Honda shop.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, opportunity is a big part of September baseball, and in the case of the A's lefty Brady Basso, it's been a bit of a twisting path. When he took the mound for the Athletics against the White Sox on Friday the 13th, he was beginning his fifth stint with the ball club this year. He went out and fired 5 1/3 innings of shutout baseball that night to earn his first major league win.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver. That includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto-pay to store bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
Deftones. North American Tour 2025, live in Sacramento. Golden One Center, Saturday, March 1st. With special guests, the Mars Volta and Fleshwater. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. For more, visit Deftones.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sactown Sports.
Live and local, it's the Drive Guys. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sactown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Now we take you up to Monday Night Football. We got the Jags and the Bills. Jags looking for that first win, right?
They are. Trevor Lawrence got to get it done. How about the Bills? They look good so far this season.
Yeah. I think you made the point before the season started, didn't you, that that's a team that everyone's just given up on.
Yeah,
all the
nobody's
Bills are no
talking
good
about
anymore.
Yep. And Josh Allen, I think he's going to be in the MVP conversation. He keeps this up.
Yeah. Today started, of course, is a tough day for 49er fans, and it's just gotten worse with the announcements this afternoon that Javon Hargrave, with his partially torn triceps, will be out for the rest of the season. And news that Christian McCaffrey traveling to Germany over the weekend to visit with a specialist. Our assumption is that he's going there for that platelet-rich plasma therapy. That hasn't been announced or confirmed, but he is expected to spend a few days there to get help for his ailing Achilles. So this is not one of those banner days in the history of the 49ers.
Not at all. Coming off a tough loss, coming off a one where you should have won, and you get these injury updates. And did you mention Brock Purdy with the back soreness day to day? And so, Niners fans, we've always talked about, we went to injuries earlier rather than later, but these are some big time injuries. And the fact that I feel like the NFC now is sort of wide open. Every game is so important. Like, you have to win this Sunday against New England. We'll have Tommy Curran of NBC Sports Boston coming up on Wednesday. But after that, the schedule gets really tough. Arizona, Kansas City, Dallas, Seattle. Like, it gets difficult. And these are the games I thought you should be 3-1 after these first four. Now, at best, you're looking at 2-2.
Cheese with a question here in the chat, Toad. I mentioned Cheese for a couple of reasons. One, Cheese last week was one of the many people wondering, where's Drapes? Where's Draper at?
Jesus.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Jesus has just tanked the season. Could it be schematics? I'm not smart enough to notice unless I watch thinking football videos. Is it schematics? Is that the problem?
That's a good question. I think, when you look at the Niners defense, 2 years ago, they were able to pin their ears back talking about the front four. And then, your back seven can handle whatever. It might be time to throw more blitzes, junk it up a little bit, create some pressure on the quarterback instead of just saying, all right, Bosa, all right, Hargrave, all right, Floyd, whoever it is, just go out there and make it happen. Because to your point, Whitey, and you tweeted this out, sure, they had 3 sacks, but it didn't feel like they really got to Stafford much all day. And it might be by design. Here's the thing, too, fellas. Who was it the other day? Who's the Vikings defensive coordinator? Used to be at Miami.
Brian Flores.
Yeah. We've had 2 quarterbacks in back-to-back weeks say, man, the stuff you drew up, like, man, that's man, you gave me all you. We never hear that about the Niners coordinators anymore.
Oh, right.
I'm talking about Steve Wilkes and now Sorensen.
Well, look at Sam Darnold last week and yesterday, Matt Stafford. How many times when they needed a big completion, they had guys running open, and how many times they were able to complete deep balls?
Yes. The big play.
Are they taking away are the 49ers taking away anything right now on defense?
No, not the ground game, not the deep ball, obviously. And I think that's what hurts you the most, the deep ball. And the fact that 2-2 got behind when it's late in the game. That's the one thing you don't want to give up at that point, right? Whitey is the deep ball. Don't let him get behind you. And you got him getting behind 2 defenders out there. That's unacceptable. How much of that is scheme? How much of that is personnel? I don't know, but it's a bad look for the Niners.
Yeah, and to your point last week, Justin Jefferson, that deep shot, that was early in the game, but still, it's Justin Jefferson. That's the one thing you don't.
And it's timing, too.
Jay crazy. He's like, they didn't have a corner defending him. They had like a safety.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Now, that's scheme there, right? That's coaching right there. And so, I mean, it's and maybe, fellas, maybe, and I know it's still early, maybe DeMeco Ryans, maybe Salah amass some of the, I guess, what Kyle doesn't have within him. He could trust those guys. I don't know how much, to your point you made earlier, is Kyle running the defense now. Does he trust Sorensen? Did he trust Steve Wilkes? Last year, we know he took it away from Steve Wilkes.
Yeah, it almost looks like Kyle's view as well. The defense let us down last year, so that's not going to happen again. I'm basically running the defense. I'm not going to call plays, I'm not going to call formations, but I'm going to have a guy who knows clearly this is what I'm doing. All right, you do this my way. And now it looks like the defense has just lost their way, and they're not. They're not having any really big impact on at least the last 2 games. And this week their defense is going to play well, no matter what.
You think
but
so?
That doesn't mean that.
Because of the opponent?
I would, yes. Don't you think? I'm just saying.
My boy Ramondre Stevenson, don't let him get
they
loose.
win this week 31-13. Let's not assume, they fixed the defense.
Right, you can't.
That's all I'm
not
saying.
against this opponent.
Yeah.
Right. You gotta, I don't know how much you can glean from this other
Unless
than
we see some Drake. Man,
let's try. They may make a move here, but here's the thing, though. When you look at the defense and going with Kyle Shanahan, they've now lost 3 out of 4 games that actually mean something.
Yeah,
and I would say in each of the losses, I'm blaming the defense's inability to get a stop when you need it the most. We saw it last week against the Vikings. You saw it yesterday as well. We saw it against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Who does that lie at? Who's to blame there? Is that a Shanahan? Because ultimately he oversees everything. Is it the players? Like, I don't know what how to put my finger on this one.
I would also say, in addition to that, I agree with you. But in addition, in those 3 losses, there were opportunities for the offense to make big plays that would have changed the whole complexion of the game that they weren't able to make.
Yeah, that's true. And it's almost like, and this isn't a Brock Purdy because I'm not putting this on him at all. It's almost like as a team, they turtle a little bit, whether it's the fumbles, whether it's the penalties, special teams, missed field goals. It seems like, and this is why I predicted the Chiefs to win again. when the game's on the line, it seems like the Chiefs find a way, maybe with some officiating help, to make the plays. The Niners just don't seem like they make the plays. Like, for the Niners to win, they got to win by 10 points. They got to win by 14. In a close game, it seems like guys turtle. And I'm not putting it on Brock. I'm not saying he's one of them. It just seems like whether it's
missed field goal that would
missed field goal,
the game. Yeah.
play calling,
just
something. Kyle Shanahan late in games, something just doesn't seem right.
Mm-hmm. Well, they don't have a lot of time to fix it. There is time to fix it, but they lose a few more games, or they lose a few more players, and then that just changes the whole complexion of your outlook. All of a sudden, you would not be a legitimate Super Bowl contender if those things happen.
Yeah.
There's still a long ways from that, still a long ways to go. But that was an incredibly discouraging loss. Like I was saying earlier, to me, it's not so much, the panic meter's high. It's just the disappointment and frustration level very high after that.
Yeah. And
no way you should lose that game.
You shouldn't lose that game, because here's the thing. You open up with a 14-0 lead. Then you back it up. And you're up, 24-14, I think it was, early in the fourth quarter. You're supposed to win that game. Mm-hmm. You're up 7 points with 2:52, I think it was, remaining. You're supposed to win that game. And so I just look at it, and, Seattle's rolling right now. They're 3-0. You're 2 games behind them. We talked last year about the Niners' road to the Super Bowl. Because they had home field advantage, the road was paved in gold for them. It was easier. Now they may have to open up on the road. There's still a lot of football left to be played. But to your point, you got to start winning some of these games, or you're going to have to be playing on the road in the NFC.
Right. If you're playing in January and you're in Philadelphia, and then you're thinking about, man, we probably should have won that Rams game.
Yes. These games.
I mean, they'll win anyway in Philly.
I don't know about that, but
no, that was what was impressive about your team yesterday, if I'm being honest. And I know, as you pointed out, they barely won that game, but they had to rally late to beat a team in the other team's building that's playing really well yesterday.
Yeah,
they found a way to do that.
That offense was stymied. And did you see the hit on my boy Devontae Smith? Did you see the hit? He got hit and knocked out of the game as well. No flag called. Should have been the guy should have been ejected. But that was a gutsy win, especially against a team that had been rolling on the road as well. But when I look at the NFC, fellas, and I look at the division, talking about the Niners division. Is it better than we thought? Meaning, Arizona, sure, they're 1-2, but look at their losses. Detroit and Buffalo, 2 very good teams. Like, I don't know if there's any gimmies in the division this year.
Mm-hmm. Who was it? Somebody on our show was saying they thought the Cardinals might be a surprise team.
Yeah, somebody did say that.
I think it was Golick. Was it Golick?
That's you may be right.
What was Ross Tucker? Who did he say?
Washington.
Oh, he's Washington.
He said Washington too. Yeah, he said Washington. But no, I'm looking at the NFC West, the division. Seattle's much better. We just saw the Rams beat the Niners, and the Cardinals, that offense and Marvin Harrison Jr., they're legit, I feel like. I'm not saying they're a Super Bowl contender, but they're an 8-win team, 9-win team. There are no gimmies, I think, in that division.
Wanted to get your feelings on this as we get you ready for Monday Night Football here on Sactown Sports. The news on Vince Carter. Vince Carter will have his jersey. We talked last week about the fact that the Nets are going to retire Vince Carter's jersey on January 25th. Today we find out the Raptors are also going to retire Vince Carter's number November 2nd, and that's a game against the Kings. So how about that? That seems kind of fitting.
Sacramento will take y'all.
That's pretty sweet, man. And he's getting it 2 different franchises.
Right.
That's pretty sweet. And it's kind of weird. Does anybody have a Kings Vince Carter jersey? That's one thing I have not seen, but that's one of those you would want to keep on hand.
And of course, the reason this is happening is because October 13th, induction into the Hall of Fame for Vince Carter.
Yeah, shout out to Vince. That's going to be huge. Oh, man. He's going to Montreal also. It's like a farewell tour almost for Vince Carter. But one of the game's greats. Remember Vince got lambasted, criticized for going to his graduation during the what was it? Was it the Eastern Conference Finals? I think against the Sixers. Yeah.
Game
but
7,
he came back and still dropped like 30 something. I think. Right?
So.
Yeah, they lost. Yeah. Vince Carter, one of the nicest dudes, man. He's a tremendous guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have an update for you as well. You being a Kings broadcaster, did you know that you've been mispronouncing the name of a player on the Kings?
Who?
Well, according to Patrick Beverly, that is. Patrick Beverly.
Shoot. What did he say?
According to Patrick Beverly, we've all been mispronouncing. Yeah.
I didn't hear. What did he say? What did he say?
Well, Jay will track it down for us, but he actually said some very nice things about Kevin Herterer. But
is that how he pronounced it?
Well, we'll get it.
All right.
Yeah. But he did, and this is something that that you and I had been saying for weeks, right? That when you look at these X factors, for what that's worth, Kevin Herterer. Yeah, there. That's,
oh my gosh.
He says he's going to be an X factor.
I agree with him, though. I'm, outside of him mispronouncing his name,
Kevin Herterer.
Oh my gosh.
And he did it more than once.
Right?
First, I was like, yeah, he mispronounced
it. Right. Like, who's he talking about?
Kevin Herterer.
Oh, okay. That guy, G League guy or something like that.
We play that every time he scores a basket.
Right. That's right. Kevin Herterer. No, man, he is the X factor. I mean, he's a guy that gives us something that nobody else on the team can really do. I mean, the attention that Kevin Herterer receives, from other opponents' defense, it opens up the floor for everybody, and that's why I don't think it's out of the realm of a possibility to see him start. And I understand Mike Brown's a defensive coach. I understand Keon provides something defensively, but let's not forget Kevin Herterer is 6'7".
You're gonna do it now.
I know, right?
You're gonna say it.
Better stop, man.
Sorry, man. Kevin Herterer, you're my guy. You know that. K9. But he's 6'7", long, can shoot the rock, opens up so much for this team offensively. And when the Kings were at their best, it was Kevin Herterer who was in the starting lineup playing well. We just need him to get back to that point.
Mm-hmm. And since you've been gone, you've been busy doing football.
Been busy.
Back with the NBA meetings. We haven't gotten your take on two other guys, veterans that have worked out with the Kings, TJ Warren and Nazir Little, in addition to your guy.
To my boy Jay Crowder.
Tough buckaroo, Jay Crowder.
Yeah. I don't know.
We haven't heard anything since we found out they're going to be working out with him.
Haven't heard anything. Yeah. I don't know. I'm more of a Nasir Little guy. I think he provides a little more defensively. TJ Warren, where does he play at? Is he a backup three? If Kevin Herterer isn't starting, isn't Herterer your backup three? And so I'm more of a Nasir Little guy. I think he's more of a two-way player. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I'm going to keep it real. None of these guys are the difference between, a top 4 seed and not, or advancing in the playoffs. They'll help you out of here and there a little bit, but really it's all about the top end talent.
Sure. To me, it's smart, though, because you never know. Maybe somebody like TJ Warren, if he finds it again, he's had foot injuries.
Yeah.
It's unlikely, but if, it's like guy's available and you take a look at it, I'm like, hey, it's worth taking a look at. To me, it also is clear that they're not desperate, but they're still looking for a front court upgrade. If there's somebody out there.
Yeah. But a wing front court upgrade, right? Not necessarily a 5 or a 4 or anything like a more of a. But I'm gonna be honest. Monty's my guy, but I don't know what he's doing with these guys, bringing them in, signing Boogie Ellis. I missed that with you guys last week. Where does Boogie play? Maybe a G League guy or something like that. I think we've all talked about they need more size, but to me, it sounds like Monty is A-okay with the O-Robs of the world and being the Alex Lynn's of the world, thinks he's okay. Because if you remember, it was this time last year, maybe a few weeks ago, Nerlens Noel we brought in.
Right.
JaVale McGee we signed.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the bigs? We aren't hearing many bigs, if at all. And so to your point, maybe it's that wing position, that 3/small 4 position that he's looking to fill right now.
And even though we have media day a week from today,
yes,
you got a lot of time. You got weeks, you got months before you actually have to finish your roster.
Right.
We all assume that once season starts, that's it, but that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, you signed so many guys, and you're right about that. Moves can still be made.
Trade deadline.
And so I would be shocked if they fill out the full roster come game 1 with all 15 guys. Like, I think they're going to keep some flexibility there to make some sort of move. some of the guys they've signed, Boogie Ellis, I mentioned, to me, he's a Stockton Kings to start the season. So he's not going to be on the big league club. I don't think they'll sign any of these guys that they've brought in. I think they're going to have some roster flexibility going forward. Yeah.
All right. We're getting ready to take you up to Monday Night Football with 2 games tonight. Anybody got any thoughts on the Jags and the Bills? Maybe, Jay, I don't know if you have the spreads there. I don't have them handy. I could look them up. And the Bengals and the Commanders. I'll tell you one thing. Bengals are going to demolish the Commanders.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me why. This is in Cincinnati. You looking at it? I got the ESPN spread, Jay. I know where it is.
We don't do that.
I know. That's what I'm waiting for.
BetMGM situation.
That's why I'm betting. Oh, do we got to deal with BetMGM or what? Let's make it happen,
we should
right?
Be making it happen. You're right.
I know it's a tough. I mean, this in a way could be a letdown game for the Bengals. I know they lost last week, but you play Cincinnati. You got to get after that game. But I think they're still way better than Washington. They need a win. 0-2 start. I think they take care of their business tonight against the Commanders.
I got a 5.5 for the Bills. They're giving up 5.5. Jacksonville underdogs by 5.5. What you guys thinking on that one?
I'm taking Buffalo. I think Buffalo is rocking and rolling. I think they're on a mission. I think they have something to prove. They'll win that division. I think, Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence, I like Trevor Lawrence, but I don't think about, he has a lot of weapons. I'm going Buffalo there.
Well, here's the thing. You're right. Right now, the Jags look lost. Trevor Lawrence looks lost, right?
I'm right.
Yeah.
Dude, clip that, big fella. All right.
The Bills off to this great start. All of a sudden, they look like one of the best teams potentially in the AFC. But did you learn nothing this weekend? All that means is that whatever you think, whatever is obvious, the opposite is going to happen in today's NFL. Give me the Jags and give me the points.
He learned his lesson from last week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After he took that beating, that bloodbath, he's like, what looks like this, actually, I can't trust my eyes on this one. I'm going to go.
What about Cincinnati, Washington? Cincinnati giving up 7. Washington underdog by 7.
Bengals. You can have your 7. Give me the
I'm
Bengals.
taking Washington, baby.
Are you?
Yeah, I'd take
I
Washington.
see where you're going,
here.
but yeah.
Nah, even I think it was raining out there too. Weather might play a factor in tonight's game.
Depress the score.
Yeah, but I got the Bengals. This is a must-win for them.
There y'all go.
7 is a lot. I agree. 7 is a lot, Jay. But I'm going Bengals
On Monday night,
Joey Buckets. I'm going with Joe Burrow tonight.
And you're also with the Bills, Jay?
Yeah. Give me the Bills. Yeah. They'll cover that.
All right. And the 49ers with a huge spread, a massive spread this week against the New England Patriots.
What is it? When you saw it, what was the first
10.5.
10.5, huh?
Let me go and see what that thing opens up at.
Yeah. The 49ers season right now, it feels like it's on hold because, you got a game this week, but you're going to win this game.
Yeah.
But with all the injury issues now, with Hargrave hurt, with CMC going to Deutschland, and after that loss yesterday, it seems like a time to reevaluate everything, including our own expectations of what this season is supposed to be.
Yeah. Hey, I got some breaking news, but not worthy of the stinger. Not worthy of the stinger, Jay. Don't
quick draw McGraw over here.
The Kings have signed a player.
Really?
Kings signed Terry Taylor. Played with Chicago and Indiana the last couple of years. Played 4 seasons at Austin P State. Shot 58% from the field in 95 career games. 6'4", list him as a forward, but probably a 2-3, something like that. Terry Taylor, another small guy, basically. Not another guy that's a 4 or a 5 for this team.
So are there any roster spots left? What does that do to the roster?
No, I think these are all training camp invites, really. Just not even like guaranteed deals or anything like that. It's they didn't say, the terms of the deal or anything like that. To me, these are just sort of getting guys in for the training camp, which starts next week. And, like we saw with Nerlens, you can get rid of them, cut them, if need be. So,
and he still picked up, what did he get? Like $300,000?
Yeah, right. We never even got to see Nerlens know how that dude got paid. So King signed another guy. Here's the thing, though. We'll be at Media Day. My question is, do we got to interview all these guys? Like, do I need to research every single guy?
Y'all got it, man. Don't do it like that.
Nah, we may have to let the B team, let Styles and Watkins handle those interviews or something like that.
You know how it is. Sometimes on a team, the guys that don't play as much, they're some of the best
They're great
interviews too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So if we get to interview Terry Taylor, I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
He played with DeMar in Chicago, though. So that's something we could talk to him about if we get to chat with him next week.
Technically, fellas, by the time you guys hit the hardwood of the practice facility, you'll get all the A's and B's
we'll
anyway.
get the big names.
Yeah, because it starts at 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ends at 4. So pretty much by the time you guys, hit the green button and go live, you'll be catching all the big fellas.
I just know last year we didn't have Styles and Watkins on yet. There was a syndicated programming, and Al and I were getting ready to, it was actually Chris.
You and Chris,
and I
right?
are getting ready to do the interviews, and the show doesn't start for like 10 minutes. And Monty comes and sits down, and the King said, all right, he's ready to go. And we're like, oh, we're not on for 10 minutes. And he's like, yeah, I can't wait around. So we just called and said, we're on now.
Did y'all go up?
Syndicated programming.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
we're on
All
with
right.
Monty.
All right. I was
so we
wondering,
had
did
Monty
you
on
record
there.
or no,
yeah,
you
we just went
up?
live. We talked to Domas. We talked to Malik.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a week from we'll be wrapping up this time next week, but we'll have talked. And De'Aaron Fox is always one of the late guys, right? Yeah,
Yes.
I think he's one of the late guys. And so we'll have some of the big names on there.
Yeah, most of the time the starters go the latest because they don't come in early. They come in, get the treatment, get the practice, and then they normally make their circle. Because what happens is the National and the Kings normally get first priority. So they normally do that down on the actual basketball floor.
Right.
And then they push towards the practice facility after. So the way the circle kind of goes, you guys will run into the big fellas, the all NBA teamers.
Yes, that's 1 week from today. Jay, I got a question for you, a 49er question. I know that you, the last couple of weeks, have been the voice of reason. Hey, it's early. Yesterday was a tough loss, and yes, it's still early. But what do you think? Are you anywhere near starting to feel like, there's some bad signs here that have me concerned?
Yes.
Or are you still solidly in the, it's too early to worry?
Yeah, concern, definitely. No panic, no red button. I don't need the authorities behind me at the moment.
But you want to know where the panic button is, don't you?
Yeah, I'm
In case
actually
you might
entering
need
the
it.
room to see, okay,
Yeah,
I know I'm
you
familiar
checking
with
things
my
out.
confinements.
Want to make sure I can get to it.
Yes, absolutely. The injuries, fellas. It's the injuries. It's concerning because of the injuries. And, I think we all know there's always going to be a rash of injuries for the 49ers. I'm a little worried that there's going to be a second rash somewhere along the line, the rest of the season.
Yeah. And I know what you're saying, Drapes. It just seems like things aren't going their way, going back to since they lost the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But, that's almost like a superstitious way to look at it. I'm trying to be reasonable.
Right,
There's no reason why it can't stop.
Right.
I say that every day, and it's like, Hargrave's out, and CMC went to Germany. But I'm sure everything will be fine.
They got to change the momentum, right? They need some good vibes, some good juju going on.
That's what I thought they did against the Jets.
Right, and it was fleeting, if you will. It was short-lived. You get a win, to your point, you get a win this week. I don't know if that's the true sign, but going forward, you need wins right now. You need wins, you need stops, you need defensive plays, anything to change that momentum, get that swagger back, if you will.
Yeah. Hassan Reddick, you with me? Go make the trade for Hassan Reddick.
You're going to have to give up a boatload, though, right? You ain't giving up no 6th-round pick.
Gotta win a Super Bowl.
Hey, you may have to go all in with Hargrave
Give up
now.
Leonard Floyd?
I would.
Yeah.
I would.
I also want to
Hargrave.
get Devontae Adams, so if I can get
Damn,
those
you
two,
want to add us?
if I can get those
This
two.
dude
Makes
living in
me
a
with us.
5,000
Yeah.
square foot mansion, want
Welcome
to
back,
take it
Drapes.
to 6.
We're back with
Come
you tomorrow.
on.
Stick around. Monday Night Football next on Sactown Sports.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the